Hey guys, welcome to the true beginning of the wrath of the Lich King. Don't mind me, I've been off spoiling the crap out of Legion for myself. I finally just gave up. I accidentally spoiled something huge and I was like, what? And then I followed a chain and spoiled something else and I said, screw it, I'm just gonna spoil everything. So, I'll give you guys warnings, but yeah. But now I'm going to wait until people acknowledge that I'm online or not. Because that's the important part. So, waiting for a sign that I'm actually online so I can commence. Sorry, YouTube viewers. Okay, seriously, we're still not online? We are not online. What the hell, Twitch? Sorry, YouTube viewers. I know you can see their chat up there, but as you can see, they're not reacting to me. So clearly, Twitch is like, you know what? It's not enough that we don't want to give you a partnership because you're this tiny little insignificant speck of doom that we don't care about. Screw you. We don't even want to let you stream at all. We want to ensure that you can't even connect to Twitch in any meaningful fashion because we hate you because we're Twitch. Hey, look, it looks like we're actually online this time. God damn. Calm. Peace. So, sorry to my YouTube viewers for the last couple of minutes of me waiting for Twitch to go live. We're just going to get right into this.
My son, the day you were born, the very forests of Lorerun whispered the name Arthas. Child, I watched with pride as you grew into a weapon of righteousness. Remember, our line has always ruled with wisdom and strength. And I know you will show restraint when exercising your great power. This victory, my son, is stirring the hearts of your people. I tell you this, for when my days have come to an end, you shall be king.
Holy crap. Still get chills from that one. I'm on the wrong character. I don't feel there's actually a lot to analyze about that trailer. It's actually really self-apparent. There's a lot of symbolism, of course, but I think the biggest thing to take away is the sheer amount of power and control that the second Lich King has over death and undeath. The fact that with such a casual effort he was able to resurrect a consort, a massive blue dragon, that says volumes. Volumes about how much power and control he had over undeath. It's incredible. So, some of you may be aware that we've got this tower. This tower's been here since vanilla, actually. It was how we got to several places with Zeppelins. But then this other tower just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Why don't we hop into this tower? With the hearts. The hearts are very important. Yeah, Sindragosha is huge. Literally second only to an aspect in terms of size and power. We will be doing everything as everything, always and all the time do one. Or I could tell you our actual plans, but it's actually more complicated than that. We will be weaving back and forth through the Alliance and the Horde as we go through Northrend. From this point out, it's actually going to be a little more complicated how we split up the Horde and Alliance playthrough. Yes, they do, Ravenwind. Ah, good, the Zeppelin's here. So you notice this Zeppelin is a completely new design, one that actually hadn't been used before until this point in time. The goblins have discovered the ultimate fuel source. Fellow goblins pedaling bicycles. You probably think I'm kidding about this. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. As soon as we start taking off here. So yeah. Oh, sorry, Scadison. Here, let me do this differently. There you go. Thanks, Bragwin. I think I'll take that as a compliment. Admittedly, some people didn't care for... Oh, see, she starts pedaling and the ship starts moving. See? You think I was joking? Goblin-powered airships. The unlimited power of the bicycle. And she gets some great cardio at the same time. Alright, let's do this. For realsies. A lot of the music in Northrend is stylized, and some people didn't care for it as a result, which doesn't blame me. Really, Liberated? Really? You're asking me that question? Yes, I'm well aware of it. Seems appropriate we'll wear this mount while we're out here. In fact, I'm going to do that. Where's the... Ah, there it is. So this kind of music that's playing right here is something that several people had problems with when they were coming into Northrend. I don't. There are a couple areas where I don't... Actually, there's really only one area I don't enjoy the music in, and that's actually Dragonblight. Everywhere else is great. Especially this place, Storm Peaks. This place has such incredible music. God, I have so much to talk about, I'm not even sure which order to do it in. Welcome to Northrend. This, okay, so a quick reality break. First of all, when we first got here, it was more like this was our exposure to Northrend. Because we couldn't actually fly back then. We had to get cold weather flying, which required you to get to the end and have the skill and have the money, right? And that's fine, by the way. In fact, I actually think Northrend probably has overall one of the best methods of flying. Because your first character, once you get there, you could buy an heirloom item that could teach you flying on an alt that you could just buy for a chunk of gold. And then your alts could do this and fly through Northrend as you're questing. I think that's a good method, personally. Enforce having to do it on ground the first time through, allow alts to fly through the second time through. I'm with that. That's pretty much my preferred method of the flying conundrum that has been brought up several times since then. This is Howling Fjord, but I know what you mean. No, we're doing this one first because Borean Tundra leads more cleanly into the Dragonblight, which is what I want to do next. Yeah, it was quite expensive, but it was still doable. I'm just kind of showing off the zone in general. This was a big surprise to a lot of people. They were expecting to go to Northrend and see ice and snow, and maybe a little snow on top of ice, and maybe a little frozen snow. Instead, they see this. Again, this is pretty much literally a fjord. In fact, it's based off of a real-life fjord. I forget which. Forgive me. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tour of the place while I talk about some memories. If you'll forgive me for... I'm actually tearing up just a little bit. I have so many fond memories of when I first walked in. Me and my friends, we went to the fjord first. This was the first zone we saw when we went to Northrend. And we saw this gorgeous foresty land. The terrain was... They've really gotten better at their designing of their terrain. It's much more complicated without actually being convoluted. It makes a lot more sense. It flows way more naturally. The quest design literally guides you on like a tour through the area. There's the Alliance town Valdegar down there, and the Vrykul are over there. Just look at this place. Look at this place. Forgive me for gushing, but it was gorgeous. And even just here in the fjord, which is again one of the first zones, pretty much all of the major plot threads of Northrend were begun. Not concluded, not really established, or not really like built up, just begun. We find out about the Vrykul. We find about, of course, we find out about the Scourge. We find out about the we find out about the Iron dwarves, which become a thing. We learn about what's going on with the Tonka a little bit, and the Tuskarr a little bit, and we get a few tiny tidbits about what's going on with the Nexus War, and so forth and so on. Oh, I'm going to, Zawan, are you kidding me? This, yeah. Love this place. Even these dragon elevator things they've got going on. Look at these things. I'm sorry, I'm just... We already enjoyed Outland. Obviously, I talked about how much raiding and questing me and my friends and my guilds and my raid groups did in Outland. I talked about that the whole way through the BC look at. But when we got to Northrend... I don't know how to explain it. It was like coming home, you know? It was like, after everything we'd seen... They really put so much polish into this one that it was just like... It was like everything here was of the quality of the Isle of Keldanus, or better! Or even better! As you know, since so many of you have played this game, you know what it's going to be like when we get to some of the later zones. Zuldrak, and the incredible tension and horror of that zone, and the wonderful threads going through the Grizzly Hills... the explanation of the Titans and the examination of the effects of their work, the unintentional effects in Shelazar, the Storm Peaks, which I'm just going to say the Storm Peaks and leave it at that. An Ice Crown, oh my god. And of course we see brand new buildings for the Forsaken, which, if you don't understand, this was a new thing at the time. Okay, so up until BC, every Forsaken building was a human building, you know, like they'd taken a human building design and then ruined it, and that's what the Forsaken used for their structures. From this point, these are the very, very first Forsaken structures ever built. Now, that, of course, does say something about the lore. It shows off just exactly how much the Forsaken really care about this expedition into Northrend. They are putting everything into this. So this is our very first peek into Forsaken architecture. And it's got that nice gothic horror, well, actually just gothic, I think is really the way to put it, gothic look to it. And a little bit of Frankenstein built in there. Dr. Frankenstein, of course. And of course, there were hundreds of people here. I mean, this one area, just this tiny little spot right here, the landing, Vengeance Landing, was swarmed with people. And the best part, by this point in time, this was the first expansion to really utilize that new, that brand new mechanic I mentioned to you some time ago. It was the mechanic that increased the spawn rate of mobs and quest items and whatnot based on how many people were in the zone. So for the first time, like ever, really, for the first time, we came to a zone that had tons and tons of people, and it wasn't a hassle. It wasn't an exercise in frustration. It wasn't 15 people sitting around waiting for a mob to respawn, because you'd get it and loot it, and then and he would like respawn instantly. So the next guy could get it, and he'd respawn instantly. And the next guy could get it, and he'd respawn instantly. I'm really looking forward to playing through Northrend, as you can probably tell. Let's pick up some Forsaken quests, yeah?
What is it?
Not long after the Arthas one quick note, really quick, by the way. They're going to use the term Arthas and the term the Lich King interchangeably. As I hope I've made clear, that is actually not true, but I'm not trying to, like, call them out or say, oh, they're stupid, or oh, they're being racist, or whatever. They literally don't know the fact that Arthas and the Lich King are two separate entities. So they're not aware of that. So they will they will say Arthas most of the time because they have a personal grudge against Arthas, and sometimes they'll say the Lich King because, that's the more political side of things. So,
What now?
not long after Arthas condemned us to this wretched existence, we in the Royal Apothecary Society endeavored to create a plague of our own, a plague that would devour all flesh, living, dead, or undead. Now, I'm actually going to stop reading that really quick, because I wanted to talk about this here. This will actually become relevant very much so as we go throughout this expansion. So, there was a series of quest chains in vanilla. I went out of my way not to discuss at the time because it wasn't really relevant at the time. The Royal Apothecary Society spent huge periods of time across multiple zones. I don't understand that question, Roaring. Multiple zones, and I'm talking like in Tirceville, in Silver Pine, in Hillsbrad, in Arathi. It came up in Stranglethorn. It came up in the Swamp of Sorrows. It was mentioned in Desolus. You're getting names different, Emalder. Ner'zhul was the original Lich King, or Gul'dan was the original Lich King, depending on which of those theories is correct. And then the second Lich King is effectively a whole unique new entity built out of Death Knight Arthas, who is a Type 3A undead. So, a separate individual in every way from actual Arthas, the real Arthas, who is basically a prisoner in his own body and mind. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. So, throughout pretty much all of vanilla, there was this constant thread of helping the Royal Apothecary Society to build this plague. Now, now that may sound like, why would we ever do that? Oh my god! Yes, it was, Hylisk. But the truth is, that's not quite what I mean. It was never that horrible. It was literally, we need some kind of plague to use against the Scourge. We need something to use against the Scourge. So we need to build up a defenses against the Scourge. It was always about anti-Scourge. And in many cases, some of those quests were more about, we need to figure out how to contradict or to counteract. See you around, Magister. Or how to counteract or how to fix, the undead plague. Or we need to be able to fix the actual Scourge plague or the Scourge blight. And we were studying this in Western Plague Lands. We were studying this in Eastern Plague Lands. It was a near constant undercurrent throughout all of vanilla. It was also present in Outland, although much, much quieter. If you were paying attention, quite a few of the apothecary quests we got in Outland, most notably in Hellfire Peninsula, were us finding and collecting new samples and chemicals and pieces and toxins and all that stuff from this alien world to try and use in the development of that plague. I mention all of this because when we got to Northrend, it was like, we finally did it. We finally created the plague. We finally have the Forsaken Blight, and we can actually finally implement it. And that's a good thing, right? Anyways, moving on. So,
Speak quickly.
We have succeeded in creating this plague. At long last, it took us vanilla and BC, but we've done it, and we're here to deliver it to the Scourge's doorstep. The Alliance intercepted their ship carrying the latest strain engineered in the Undercity laboratories. Head to the wreckage southeast of here. Salvage whatever containers you can.
Trust no one.
My personal headcanon for that Hylisk is not all of them were lying. It's kind of like the situation with the Ash Tongue. There were the actually evil Ash Tongue, and then there were the actually good Ash Tongue, and both were basically appointed for the same reason, to keep the lie going. So I think there are plenty of apothecaries who are actually doing lots of good, brilliant, amazing work with the plague, specifically because they thought they were making a cure for it. And then there were, of course, everyone else in the Apothecary Society who were actively trying to make the Blight, most notably Putris. Although, of course, we know Putris is and has been working with Varimathras for some time, but I don't want to get off topic on that. And yeah, that's the funny thing. The plague isn't actually done. They just finally have a version they can start doing field tests on. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Hello?
Oh, because I'm already level 72. Right, I'll go ahead and pick that quest up. And
Trust no one.
Hey, Admiral. Welcome back.
What is it?
The High Executor wants me to use my dogs to sniff out enemy scouts. But I can tell you right now, these plague hounds aren't going anywhere till they're properly fed. If our military doesn't understand that these beasts are picky enough to not eat the rubbish they've given me, they can't expect them to be any use in the field. You seem to have some time on your hands. Why don't you take one of these dogs out for hunting crows to the west? Okay, I can do
Our
that.
time will come.
I agree, Hylisk. I absolutely agree. I imagine most of the upper apothecaries were like, yeah, no, we're making a new plague. And don't forget, Sylvanas was okay with that. We were okay with that. Oh, gotcha, Roaring. I think it's because a few people said that we're making fun of my voice acting. And so I got self-conscious and quit, basically.
This had better be good.
I've been in the military my whole life. I've fought in many wars, in many banners. But they've always been other people's battles. Not this time. Every Forsaken soldier you see here has come here for one reason alone. Arthas must be killed. Ah, crap, there's an event happening. Quick, I gotta get the quests.
Our time
Quick.
will come.
Don't want the event until I'm ready for it. Yeah. Run away. Actually, I guess I could just watch the event. What fool dares to enter Her Majesty's dominion unannounced? So that's Keleseth. Ah, but it is you who intrudes on our master's territory. He could wipe you out in an instant for that transgression alone. Arthas does not have much love or patience for his escaped slaves. But he has learned of your victory over Stormwind's North Fleet. Okay, no, this happens later. I was right. This actually doesn't happen yet. Let's skip that. Let's skip that. We don't want to see that yet. We're not there yet. We want to do this in order, damn it. Razza. No, this was earlier, Spirit Blade. This was like last year or something. So this is the North Fleet. The Alliance. One of the most powerful undercurrent themes of Northrend is the Alliance and the Horde are both idiots. You heard me. Both of us were so stupid in Northrend. The player characters saved the world in Northrend. The player characters took down Malygos. The player characters are the ones who stopped Yogg-Saron. The player characters are the ones who restored Ulduar and stopped Algalon from completing his device. The player characters are the ones who brought down the freaking Lich King. The Alliance and the Horde took credit for all those actions, but they spent the entire time fighting amongst each other and constantly wasting effort, resources, and lives. Now, I feel like this is a weird thing to say. Like, really, this is just such a weird thing to say. But there's another reason other than the obvious. Like, okay, they're just... Killing people is bad, okay? Now, I know you're looking at me like, well, duh. But no, I'm serious. Ignoring the obvious moral repercussions of murdering the other side because they're the other side. We're not actually enemies, I want to stress. There's no war at this stage of the game, okay? We're not actually at war with each other. We're just killing each other for no frickin' reason. I shouldn't say we. I wasn't a part of this. But you get my point, right? The Horde and the Alliance were both like, rawr, kill the other side. Bleh. So there's the obvious moral reasons why it's wrong. Then there's the obvious military reasons why it's wrong. We're literally diminishing the forces we have here in order to, while we're here in an invasion fleet. Like, I can't even think of many other settings where two different massive powers send an entire army to a section and spend more time killing each other than the enemy they're both there to defeat. And then there's the third reason it's stupid. This is Northrend. This is the home of the Scourge. Every single one of our people who die here come right back up as part of the enemy. Oh, God. God. Oh my God. This is just... The severe stupidity of this just boggles my mind. And I want to stress, it's not even about bad writing. I know that sounds weird because there has been bad writing in the Alliance being versus the Horde. I've pointed out several examples where it's just stupid and they just wanted the excuse for the PvP. That happened in Vanilla, that's happened in Warlords. But here in Wrath, this is probably the one time where the Alliance and the Horde being against each other and killing each other was actually written properly. The entire point of this was these two powers there's so much bitterness on both sides. There's so much mistrust. There's so much baggage. Pandaria was the other time, by the way. There's so much baggage between these two forces that there's literally a section. There's a section where there's Alliance troops. I know I've already talked about this, but I just gotta get this out. There's an Alliance people who are Alliance troop, an Alliance garrison, or whatever the hell. They're just Alliance army force, platoon, there we go. An Alliance platoon is attacking a Scourge fortification, and a Horde platoon see it, and they're like, yes! Yes! Let's go kill this Alliance! Kill the Alliance! Kill the Alliance! And they all die! The Alliance die, the Horde die, and the Scourge, well, obviously they don't die, they get stronger, but oh my God! But it makes sense. It makes sense because they don't understand. They don't understand what the severity of what's going on. There's a term for this, and I can't think of this. The idea is like this. The idea is you've got an enemy. We'll just call the enemy the Scourge, and you're fighting against the Scourge, and you appear to be winning. I believe they did this in StarCraft as well. Now that it just occurs to me, the original StarCraft. Oh, the Zerg Swarm is invading us. Oh, let's fight them a few times. Oh, we won! Well, clearly the Swarm isn't a threat, so let's spend our efforts on other, more worthwhile pursuits, because the Swarm isn't really something we need to concern ourselves with. It's the same damn problem. The Alliance and the Horde thought they were winning in Northrend, when they really weren't. Looking at it tactically, looking at it long-term-wise, they weren't winning. We, the player characters, the Elite 25 or the Elite 10, who are charging forward and actually making our way through Northrend and defeating the actual enemy forces, were the ones actually winning, with the help of several organizations as we go, in fairness. But the Horde and the Alliance kept being like, we're hardly even trying. We're barely giving a damn. I mean, I'm not even putting all my effort into fighting the Scourge. But, you know, those Alliance guys over there, they've been looking at me funny, and those Horde guys over there, oh, I remember its tales of the Horde. In fact, my grandfather lost his arm fighting orcs. It's very easy to understand why these two powers spent so much of their time and resources fighting each other. Because everything that... What the... Yeah. I know, right? That's... Arthas never actually died. He actually became an undying, which is kind of a weird half alive, half dead. I've actually discussed this before. Noth the Plaguebringer is another good example of an undying. He's basically a living creature sustained by undead energies, so pretty much a halfway in between. The big important thing with Arthas in Warcraft 3 was his soul was taken out. So the real Arthas, his soul, was off doing its own thing in Frostmourne, basically. And Death Knight Arthas, which is what I usually refer to him as, was the new entity that was crafted, that we start playing as in Warcraft 3. And I just had the hugest urge to go back and play Warcraft 3 right now. I'm going to go do that. No, I'm kidding. Let's continue. I'm just sitting here. So the first thing that really impressed me in Northrend, I know this is going to sound weird, is the quest design. Now you're like, how the hell does the quest design appeal you? Well, so here we have this quest here where we've got this sucker. I know this is a really little thing. But first of all, we have basically 100% drop rate on quest items, which was new at the time, by the way. Remember, even BC didn't actually have that. That wasn't a thing in the BC quest philosophy. Second of all, this is how you feed your pet. You literally toss the pet to it and it eats it. It like goes straight to its mouth. That was also a new feature of the mechanism at the time. And again, it doesn't sound like a big thing, and that's because it isn't. But it was just a little thing that made me realize that they were really putting their best face on when it came to Northrend. Yeah, Hylisk, absolutely. They really knew what they were doing with this one. Oh my god. Like I said, one of the reasons I tend to think of Wrath as my favorite expansion, and in addition to the obvious parallels of continuing and finishing the storylines of Warcraft 3, is the fact that I have very few complaints about Wrath of the Lich King. I said Warcraft 3. I have very few complaints about Wrath of the Lich King. I do have a couple, but they're really minor. Meanwhile, BC, it's like, quest design, and padding, and you know, all the stuff I've been talking about. When we get to Cataclysm, I was like, endgame, and you know, relatively lackluster end raid, and all that fun stuff. And when I get to Pandaria, it's like, the daily grind, and massive breaks in between patches and little content patches, and Timeless Isle. And Warlords, it's like, time travel. But there's no in Wrath. Nothing in Wrath made me go, For all the complaints I had at the time, and they were there, none of them made me go, I'm curious if any of you had any uhs when it came to Wrath. Seriously. Maybe there's just one I'm not thinking of. Oh, right. I want to read this quest because I didn't get a chance to earlier. We're slowly finishing off the remnants of Stormwind's North Fleet stationed on the coast. because we're stupid and we're fighting each other for no frickin' reason. Anyways. The bodies to the west are a testament to how brutal this confrontation has been. This does not happen to bother my particularly refined aesthetics, but it does present a danger to our lives. In the lands of the Lich King, the dead are a weapon that can rise against us at any point in time. Take this torch. You're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, I was actually going to point that out, too. So, while burning the corpses does limit what the Scourge can do with the corpses, it doesn't prevent them from using the corpses. It is Hylisk, you're absolutely right. It would go all the way up to 11 in Cataclysm. And then stay there. I really liked Zuldrak. I found Zuldrak's storyline fascinating. Kind of self-contained. All I have to say about that is the guy whose name I can't remember. The troll. Drakuru. Drakuru. Because, yeah. Gear score? I don't think I can blame Wrath on that, though. That was an add-on. I mean, that was an aggravation, absolutely, but that was players' fault, not the game's fault, you know. So, I can't get that one.
This had better be good.
Did you hunt down some crows, boy? Good boy, good boy. These hounds remind me of those days raising purebreds in Tirsafal. Those were good times. Now that this rascal's belly's full, maybe he'll be a little more willing to cooperate. Here's his leash. Just come get him from his cage whenever you're ready to take him. I don't know what Anselm expects you to find. Just look for clues wherever the dog takes you.
Farewell.
3-button mages? You know, I actually have something to say about that. So, a lot of people made fun of arcane mages because they were easy to play. Normal, you know, most people are like, oh, that class is easy to play, oh, that class is easy to play. It's been true throughout all of WoW's history. Throughout all of video games history, for that matter. But, all I gotta say is, the difference in Arcane Mage was knowing exactly how to blow your cooldowns, exactly how to stagger your buffs, and exactly when to hit what, was a complete difference from someone who just hit the 3 buttons. And I know that because I knew someone who was an Arcane Mage in Wrath who did terrible DPS, relatively speaking. And then there was me. I played an Arcane Mage. My mage, Nethermist, was actually Arcane in Northrend. And I was damn good at it. And I wasn't the only one. I know a couple other people, whose names I can't remember right now because it's been a while, who could play Arcane and knew how to stagger everything just so that they would really push out the numbers and really do significant damage. So I can't actually agree with that one personally either. Also, Sholazar Basin. I like Sholazar Basin. I also like the Borean Tundra, so I can't get on board with that one either. The Argent Tournament is probably... it's definitely the least good of the raids out here, but I can't call it a bad raid, so...
I'm listening.
I'm glad you've proven you can follow orders. If I had a copper piece for every arrogant fool in shiny armor to come here and think they're above the chain of command, I'd have a few gold. Now that you've demonstrated a measure of discipline, I have other tasks more suitable for someone of your caliber. Also, for those of you not quite getting the joke there, BC gear tended to be pretty shiny. So, just imagine how many, you know, non-player characters come through here, fresh off of the campaign to Outland, like, roar, and just charge out and die. Our mission in Northrend is to destroy Arthas. The Alliance are but an obstacle we'll crush wherever we find them. Why are we crushing the... We managed to destroy their easternmost fleet, but the survivors have barricaded themselves in the derelict strand south of here. Our forces should have overwhelmed their makeshift defenses long ago, but we underestimated their will to live. Seek my officers in the field and get them to report on the situation.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Hey, Juju's. So I just want to rehash the stupid Alliance versus Horde thing. There's an entire fleet of Alliance troops and ships coming here to fight the Lich King that the Forsaken are actively trying to wipe out. Keep in mind, at this point in time, the Forsaken do not have the ability to resurrect the dead in order to make new Forsaken. That doesn't happen till Cataclysm. So there's no benefit for the Forsaken wiping out the Alliance here. Just wanted you to understand that real quick. Just, Anyways.
Hello.
It's good that you're back in one piece. The danger of becoming infected from handling these containers is not non-existent. I suppose I should have warned you about that earlier. There it is. I've a feeling the long trip across the sea is affecting the effectiveness of our plague. What is needed is a potent toxin to boost the potency of the strain. The crabs near this beach are a distant relative of the much smaller brown-shelled tide crawler. The smaller tropical variety produce a paralytic toxin strong enough to knock out an ogre. And we all know bigger is better. The much larger glands on the local variety should prove more potent. Bring me a few.
Beware the living.
Anyone remember when playing a fire mage was actually really, really complicated? Because I do. When you had to specifically have all your spells lined up just so, and keep combustion rolling, otherwise you just screwed up everything. I actually agree with you on that one, Hylisk. Because, yeah, the Horde and the Alliance are basically both in the same boat when it comes to the Argent Tournament, as we'll see when we get there. But the actual, the Argent Crusader there, trying to like, oh, come on, we need a dedicated army. And the Ebon Blade are like, no we don't, we just need to go kill the frickin' Lich King. And they were both right. What? I think he smells something. What do you smell, boy? What do you smell? What do you smell? Quick! I wasn't playing a mage myself at that exact point in history, Midgar. I was tanking for it, so I don't know what it is. Hey, Samurai. Where have you been, man? I have not seen you. I knew it. You don't like WoW. For shame. Mind Blast is correct. I believe Kata is what added the built-in add-on things. I'm not sure about that, actually. I remember, like, that right there. I don't have add-ons going. Well, I have a add-on going. So that's built in. Used to be you had, what was it called? Spell Auras, I think, was the name of the add-on. And you could customize it to basically anything, and you had to. Or you had Bigwigs, which you could customize to showcase when certain people had certain debuffs. I actually had, like, God, I don't know, 12 different Bigwigs profiles for all of the different bosses, which all did different effects. So I could be watching for exact certain particular buffs and debuffs for a lot of the different bosses, most especially in Icecrown Citadel. I would like that too, Kovok. Alright, so the Plague Lord has sent me... Who are these guys? They look like big humans. Ugly humans, too. Well, let's kill these ugly humans. I mean, they must be Alliance, after all. Alliance scum! Ooh, what are they cooking? Let's see. We've got potato, carrot, and fish head. Yep. Definitely Alliance food. This scaly scroll is covered in stark painted images. You have a feeling this is the sort of thing the Kennel Keeper had in mind when he meant to look for clues. Upon a closer inspection, thank you, Mr. KJ, the scroll appears to be a heavily illustrated map of the fjord. The location of various tribes and villages are depicted in what appears to be tribal symbols. The The location of Vengeance Landing is marked with a disproportionately large skull. This map will probably be of value to the High Executor. Yeah, my Worgen would be like... Awesome, Samurai. I really hope it fits well. And in addition to looking cool, I hope it is also comfortable, since that's pretty important too. At least to some people. Agreed. Only the Alliance would eat Murloc. Or whatever. And quest done. You're probably already noticing the difference in the quest design philosophy. It'll become much more obvious the further in we go. Northrend quest philosophy can be described as this. Here's your starter hub, right? So you got like 3 or 4 quests, a number of quests to go into this particular region. Then all of them turn in to the same spot, either the original spot or a new spot. Once you return to the original spot, you get a series of quests. Again, all of the same lines, goes up into a new area. And then you come back. So it's all much more, there's much more flow to it. There's a lot less backtracking. There's a lot less randomly going to random different locations like we had in Outland, and especially in Vanilla. You guys saw me complaining about questing through BC. All I have to say about that is, do you guys want to think, how many of you did the Oldemon chains back in Vanilla? You want to talk about lots of padding and lots of backtracking. Oh my god. That was crazy.
I am forsaken.
You continue to prove your competence. Hopefully this toxin will be enough to boost our plague to the levels we need it to be. At the very least, it should help weaken the recipient, make them more susceptible to infection. We've just received word at reinforcements coming from to the aid of the Alliance forces. Oh, their timing couldn't be better. We're in sore need of test subjects, and these North Fleet reservists will do nicely. Take the plague vials and speak to Camille. Tell her to commandeer a special riding bat. Once you're at sea, drop the vials on the fleet. Kill them all. Death to the living and to the Alliance. He doesn't actually say that, but he might as well. Let's actually go turn in this other one too, because there's going to be another concurrent quest. This is the only mount I'm going to use up here, because of course it is! I just wanted you to be aware of that.
I'm listening.
By the way, lots of Deathstalkers here. Just a minor point, it once again emphasizes just how serious the Forsaken is taking this. They have actually set up permanent structures, and they've sent their most elite soldiers and warriors up here, including all of the High Executors, all of the main Executors, and pretty much the entirety of the Deathstalkers. Fun fact, in lore, if the Alliance decided to attack, I don't know, say, any of the areas around Tearsafal right now, they'd win like easy. They just win. Because pretty much 90% of the entire Forsaken army is in Northrend at this point in time. Again, in lore. What does it look like? The ground is frozen like a rock. The wheels on these meat wagons are built to go over mud at best. We're going to need an abomination and some chains to salvage them.
Victory for some.
How's that for an unusual problem? Literally getting you're having, so the wheels grind forward into the mud, and then the mud freezes them. And then they're stuck there. Meanwhile, Dark Ranger.
What brings you here?
If those 2 cannons along the walls are the ones that are slowing us down, without their protection, our forces would be able to rush their fortification without taking any losses. It's either take out those cannons or wait till they run out of ammunition. His choice, I suppose. By the way, I just want to give huge props to the Alliance. This is really clever. They literally took the broken pieces of their vessels, formed a surprisingly effective barricade, which also is strong enough to support the cannons, which they also salvaged from their ships in order to help defend their last outpost. So, that's pretty awesome, the fact that they managed to pull that off. It's a shame we will have to kill all of them. In lore, none of those Alliance are going to survive.
This had better be good.
She's stabbed like in Warcraft 3, by Frostmourne itself, actually. Cannons are holding us back? I'll show them cannons. We have the Windrunner, the Queen's Reprisal, and the Oblivion stationed just east of the derelict strand. Send orders to the fleet commander, Captain Harker. They're to destroy the Alliance cannons.
Remember, patience.
Wait, you found something to show me? Here's the eastern coastline over here. The Dragonflare and Winterscorn villages are here and here. And this must be us, marked for death. No one seems to know very much about the Vrykul. Our records show no signs of activity in their lands for centuries, yet here they are, just as we make our move against Arthas. The map you retrieved makes it clear we'll have to defeat them if our forces are to get any further into Northrend. One of my best sergeants, an abomination known as Gorth, oversees the blockade beyond the lift. Assist him in launching a preemptive strike. If the Vrykul attack occurs, it'll be launched from there.
Dark Lady.
Well, that will wait, because right now... See, the problem is we're a little over-leveled. We're riding the green line at the moment, and soon we'll be riding the gray line.
I haven't got all day.
What is it?
All right.
Embrace the shadow.
Time to kill some Alliance scum. I can't do it. I can't do it. Time to be an idiot. There we go. I can do that. I can do that. It's time to show the might of the Forsaken. By the way, this is an entire squadron of ships. If you don't understand what that means, this is not a small force. This is the Alliance coming in here in full force. Not only would these ships probably be able to take out the Forsaken encampment here, but they'd probably be a really significant force against, I don't know, the Scourge, if given the opportunity to do so. So let's just bomb them with a biological agent, because we're the frickin' Forsaken. Goodbye, Alliance. Enjoy your deaths. You think this is bad? Wait till you see what the Alliance is doing over in the Borean Tundra. Okay, it's nowhere near this bad. But it's still bad. Hey, Shazad. Oh, it's a great way to die. You've just traveled God knows how long. I mean, they just sailed from here to here. That's not a short trip. Have you ever been on a ship, a warship for that matter, for a long period of time? Never mind the fact that you get there and all of a sudden, death from the skies. I mean, that would be like if the Alliance and the Horde simultaneously were going into someplace like, I don't know, just making someplace up. The Twilight Highlands as a cohesive force. And as we're going there, as a cohesive force to defeat a common enemy, we end up fighting each other for no freaking reason. Now, in the defense of the Alliance, that was all Garrosh's fault. Like, literally, all of that was Garrosh. Idiot.
I am forsaken.
The reports from the field are not encouraging. Well, what do you mean?
Where the living.
Why don't we get those reports from the field, which should be coming in nowish, maybe? Up there it comes. There it comes. Yeah, I think 2 months is about right. Reports from the test enemy fleet have come in, sir. Excellent. What's the lowdown? Do we have a body count? Well, the good news is we forced the reinforcements to turn back. Yay! Well, spit it out. What's the bad news? Pause. The plague was not quite fatal. However, reports of harmful effects include nausea, loss of equilibrium, and severe stomach pain. Severe stomach pain? Severe stomach pain? We are the Royal Apothecary Society. Inducing bellyaches is not a part of our job description. Am I surrounded by amateurs? I want a full analysis of the new strain by tomorrow morning. Get on it! Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I don't know, G-Juice. I enjoy my Frost Mage a lot. But I have not tried out the other two specs as of Warlords. I just really like Frost. So.
What now?
I'm afraid our equipment isn't exactly the best here at Vengeance Landing. After all, it's a military-controlled outpost. I will need you to take a sample of the strain to Chief Plaguebringer Harris in New Agamond. Follow the road out of Balheim. Excuse me. I'm going to have some trouble with a lot of pronunciations up here, by the way. I'm not good at Nordic pronunciations. I never have been. You must hurry. Our enemies are stronger, more numerous than us. We must develop a viable weapon.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah, we gave the Alliance dysentery. We are the best. Alright, I was supposed to take the flight handle out here. Screw it, I've got a flying mount. I'll just go out to the ship myself.
What is it?
I hope you're ready for a fight, Valvaxis. The Queen's fleet needs you. This should have been a walk in the park. Their forces are hungry, injured, and ill-equipped, yet somehow we walked right into their trap. We approached these reefs from the south to gain cover, and were immediately boarded by Alliance dogs. I'm sorry to say, if you want our cannons to fire at anything, you're going to have to help us take our ship back.
Goodbye.
I can say Yimmeron only because I've heard it said out loud. That is not how I imagined his name was said, by the way. Like, not at all. I should be looking for actual upgrades. I've actually got some holes in my gear. How's that for a wonderful thought? Whether or not the Alliance will survive the trip back is probably dependent on how many healers they have on board. Like, magical healers. That's just kind of a sad situation, isn't it? Ah, I hate you, Deacon. Ah, that could be Tuttles. I'm not actually sure, of course. No, I'm fine, I'm fine. I do kind of wish someone would donate for something else, though. I'm a little tired of looking like this. Especially in freaking Northrend. Oh yeah, by the way, each ship has like one dead zone, which I just ran through real quick. See if I can find it again. Oh, it was like right up. There it was. See how they're literally disappearing? I think that's bad. Later on we'll be fighting on a ship that's moving. Of course they consider it a failure because we know what they actually want out of a plague. And it's pretty nasty. But I don't want to get there yet. That's all the way later in Dragonblight. Let's save that for when we get there. What do you mean, Nicholas? Is it in terms of quality or in terms of things getting better? I don't understand the statement, actually. You know, it's the shame of it that the transmog system doesn't exist yet. I know I've said that before, but my reason for saying that is I could have, like, any transmog suit on my paladin because I have so much transmog unlocked in my account. So I could have been like, hey guys, here's another option. I could look like full tier 2 judgment. Or I could look like full tier 5, or insert combination here, you know? Just, yeah, it would have been awesome. Anyways,
I
moving
am
on.
forsaken.
Nice work paring those mongrels down to size. My men will be able to clean up the rest. We should be able to kill our way back to our guns. Unfortunately, visibility is less than desirable. You'll have to mark the targets on the ground. Take these smoke flares with you and use them to mark locations.
Victory for Sylvanas.
You got it. Wait. As much as I love this mount, while we're in Northrend, we're going to use a different mount. Give me a moment. This one. There we go. This is the mount we'll be using in Northrend. The questing will get better from this point on, basically, Nicolas. So... yeah. The overall quest design pretty much continued to improve throughout the course of this game's history. Well, someone's already done this, which sucks. So I'm just gonna pretend that this place isn't on fire and set off a smoke signal. Except it's... I literally have to wait. Hang on, I gotta wait. I'll just take in the view. Yes. So you might be like, what would Tier 2 look like, Arsh? Maybe you could show me that while you're waiting here for this to respawn. Well, I suppose I could do that. Just for you. It would look something like this. And I could be running around looking like this right now. If Legion would freaking come out already. Behold. Oh, tell me that doesn't look cool. It's not the only cool paladin suit. In fact, there's actually quite a few really awesome paladin suits and plate suits in general. But this is generally the most well-liked suit all over. Let's see. Sometime by September, G-Juice. Yeah, this is pretty much the iconic paladin outfit. Whether it's the best or not depends on personal opinion, but it is definitely the iconic outfit. Hang on, I'm looking for a specific piece of armor here. Oh, there it is. Crystal Forge. This is the other one I could be... That I actually like this suit. I know not a lot of people do, but I like this suit. This is not a complete suit, but this is kind of what it looks like here. Still isn't respawned. Or someone else did it while I was here. Damn it, now I gotta wait. Yeah, there's another player. I just saw him. Damn you, other players! You are the true problem with this game. If only I could play this game like as a co-RPG with just my friends and no other players, this game would be infinitely better. I'm kidding. Aha! A cannon! Check it out. You hear something? Wow, it didn't knock me back. That usually does a huge knockback. Oh well. See if I can make it happen this time. So, how many of you tend to go through Northrend deliberately not flying mounting, like, the majority of the time? Like, I've actually already started doing without really meaning to. I really shouldn't do that because it's going to delay the lore run. Yeah, it didn't didn't knock me back. Weird. I do that in a couple of expansions, but this is probably the most common one for me.
I am listening.
Ah, excellent. I will signal our ground troops to make their move. You've proven yourself. Oh, God! It's the enemy! It's the Alliance! Death! Death! Wait. No, that's right. You've proven yourself in the field of battle. You might very well change the tides in our favor. I have an important assignment for you now. I'm not sure how much longer the weaknesses we've exposed are going to last, so we must use the element of surprise to our advantage. I want you to use the confusion created by our attack to go behind the enemy lines and assassinate their leaders. You got it. Let's assassinate the leadership of the Alliance. Gum. I can't even say that with a straight face. I'm like trying to be like, I'm a stupid idiot. I do that in a few zones, yeah. You literally can't really do that in a couple of them. Cough, cough, Storm Peaks, Ice Ground. So I have a really quick story to share. You see this guy? Every now and again he says something in Dwarvish. He says, Dana! Or Dana, actually, is how we say it. Now, you might wonder, why does that matter at all? Well, we actually had a friend named Dana who played this game. And every time we would level her through this area on an alt, or we'd go through an alt, we'd be like, Dana! And it just kind of became a thing. And I'm going to just stop talking. Yeah, I tend to do this in several zones in Northrend. I promise I won't do it in all of them. I will try very hard not to enjoy Northrend, guys. I apologize. We need to be less serious. So, you see, one of the things that we should be doing for this particular zone... Okay, we actually had a whole story behind it. The idea was that was like Dana's ex-boyfriend, who, he wasn't actually short, we just all hated him because we were friends with her, and that's how solidarity works. So we were all like, this is her ex-boyfriend who's constantly trying to shout for her because he's so lost without her. Dana! Dana! And we just keep going through and killing him. To make her feel better, basically.
What is it?
Thanks for battling me out of this mess. I was not looking forward to what these Alliance scumbags had in store for me. Let's get out of here and see if we can get back at them. Is that a campfire over there?
Our time will come.
There he is again. Dana! You couldn't have come at a better time. Let's get out of here. Quick, we must kill the Draenei! Kill the Draenei scum. They have limited supplies in this camp. It'd be a real shame if something were to happen to them. Oh god, no, I'm older. I was someone who argued that the Alliance and the Horde should be a unified force since vanilla. I was actually upset when I found out that the two factions would be PvP locked and couldn't coordinate with each other in vanilla. Especially in the wake of Warcraft 3, when it seemed the two sides finally had the very beginning steps of some kind of cooperation. Maybe not like an alliance. I mean, we weren't like all happy-dory, jumping around and holding each other's hands and singing about flowers and sunshine, but for God's sakes, we'd learned to stop killing each other long enough to focus on the real enemies. And for that to just kind of be reverted abstractly in vanilla bothered me, still bothers me to this day. Watch it burn. Dana. Like I said, Dana means fire. That's what he's actually saying. You may wonder how I know that. Well, logic obviously tells me, but we bothered to bring an Alliance character all the way out here just to watch him say it, so we could figure out what he was saying. Yes. Yes, we're burning supplies during an invasion. Now you might be like, oh, the Forsaken don't need supplies. Yes, they do. We can especially repurpose supplies. There's still plenty of things we use that they use too, you know. Also, keep in mind that the Forsaken are not the only Horde force out here. We've got plenty of fleshy orcs and Taurens and blood elves, which were blackmailed into coming up here, I want to remind you. Oh my god. The Forsaken... I have defended the Forsaken many, many times. Mostly in vanilla, where they were basically the race everyone hates, and basically for no reason. And I mention that because back in vanilla, the Forsaken were a lot less evil of a race. They really were just the race that everyone tried to kill because they were undead and for no other reason. Understandable or no, it really was kind of a messed up situation. By the time we got to BC, the Forsaken had basically become just another Horde race. Then we get here, and now the Forsaken are like, yes, blah, 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 blah. That'll teach you to mess with an apothecary, you motherless alliance dogs. Yes, that's right. This guy is literally doing this out of spite. This one guy has unilaterally decided to burn valuable supplies in a camp we are actively trying to conquer out of spite. Someday they're going to let me play a Forsaken Paladin. I'm doing that. Oh, yeah, it does get much, much worse in Kata. But this is more a matter of them being stupid than them being evil. They will become evil later. Well, if that's so, we need to go tell those Forsaken Paladins they need to fall over and die quickly. Yeah, Barth, there's at least 2 Paladins that have been Forsaken. Or Forsaken that have been Paladins, rather. In lore, supposedly there's more, but there's the 2 we absolutely know about. Damn it. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. This marks an undisputable victory for our forces. Anselm will be most happy to hear about this. Wait, Anselm? I knew it! Bum, bum, bum. Let's go and take that thing. Let's send word back to old Anselm, then. Victory has come later than expected, but better than never. Tell him it'll take a few hours at most to kill the rest of these innocent soldiers. Glory to the Banshee Queen. Call me weird, but I'm one of those people who's never been bothered by the undead paladin thing. In this setting, I want to stress that, by the way. In, like, D&D, that would be ridiculous. In Forgotten Realms, or, you know, a lot of other fantasy settings, that would be ridiculous. But because of the way light works, and because of the way undeath works in Warcraft, I'm okay with it, you know? This is probably the only setting I'm okay with it in. There we go.
Speak quickly.
By the way, this is one other thing that they did that I really liked in the Northrend quest design. You notice how these quests give lots of different variety of items? One of the problems in both Vanilla and Outland is as you're questing, there's a lot of quests that give you nothing. Because they only give you, like, they only give 3 items total. And 3 items aren't going to cover, what is that, like, 33 different specs of possible gear that you care about. Now, so what they do here is they try to stretch it out so you have lots more quest loot from each given quest, so you're much more likely to get something you actually want. You're not guaranteed still, but you're likely to. That would actually be a quest design thing they would carry into Pandaria and extend it even further, so that you would literally only see the quest items that your particular spec cared about. Even though that particular quest gives like 20 different items, you only see 2 options because that's your class. So, anyways, I'm getting off topic. Moving on. We'll do that one.
Trust no one. go.
It's about time. The Alliance has been a thorn in our side for a long time now. No time to celebrate, however. Look to the west. We seem to have visitors.
Our time will come.
So here comes Prince Keleseth. You may remember him from the Death Knight starter zone. Archers, at the ready. Hold your fire. Also notice he's being escorted by several Vrykul there. What fool dares to enter Her Majesty's domain unannounced? Haha, but it is you who intrudes on the Master's territory. He could wipe you out in an instant for the transgression alone. Arthas does not have much love or patience for his escaped slaves, but he's learned of your victory over Stormwind's North Fleet and thinks you have potential. Potential to see reason and abandon Sylvanas' childish rebellion. Arthas is prepared to offer you power beyond your imagination. The puny army you lead here would pale in comparison to the phalanxes at your command if you return to the Scourge's embrace. Behold, the Vrykul, a race that has perfected war and destruction to the point of an art form. Already they've cast their lot with the Lich King. Their dwellings surround you, and their number are easily 5 times yours. The choice is yours, Anselm. Return to the Lich King's army and fight alongside them, or remain loyal to your so-called queen and suffer their wrath as they drive you from their homelands. Is that all you've come to say? Send these scumbags back to hell. Fire at will. So he casts a nice spell that freezes them there, teleports behind his troops, and lets them take the brunt of the barrage. Listen to your men's dying breaths as I drink their souls. This will not be the last you hear of me. I will return to spit on your corpse after Utgar's armies have descended upon you. Pain. Tempest. No actual damage. Am I saying your name right, by the way? Maybe I should just say Admiral. Anyways. Pokemibo, I'm sorry I missed your comment earlier, but you're welcome. I'm glad you're liking the stream. And I hope you're liking our continued discussion, especially as we go through Northrend of the remainder of the lore, because we got lots of lore. Oh yes, lots of Vrykul survive, Zoan. Legion! Oh, excuse me. Whew. Anyways.
I'm listening.
This elf prince thinks he can come to my town, insult my queen, kill my men, and get away with it. He thinks we're going to stand by while the hordes of Utgarde build up to launch an attack? Not in a million years. You're going to walk right into Utgarde and kill him. I want Arthas to know that we've arrived and we're playing for keeps. Report to the Dark Ranger Mara inside the keep when the deed is done, and she'll tap any loose ends.
Victory for Sylvanas.
We're going to go ahead and queue for that now, because that's really the only quest leading in there for the Horde. The Alliance I would wait a little bit longer on. Favorite female from all of Blizzard? Well, I admit Jaina Proudmoore is a very interesting character that I really enjoy. Kerrigan is also an interesting character I really enjoy. Trying to think. Like, my absolute favorite. That's kind of difficult, really. I think I'm going to go with those two. Hold position. Keep Vrykul men back. You come help? Good. Good. Gorth getting tired killing Vrykuls all day. Help? Welcome. When you've been in lots of fight like Gorth, you'll learn that beat enemy good You half make them really scared die. But these Vrykul's not afraid. You kill one, another one comes, screaming louder and bigger weapon than before. Only thing that makes Vrykul's afraid is when we killed the biggest, baddest Vrykul of all. Okay, I can do that.
Us hear and obey.
Oh, who's this? It's some kind of bison-flavored tauren. Okay, so fun little factoid. As we know, the tauren are one of the indigenous races of Azeroth. So they've been around since the beginning, basically, alongside the trolls and ostensibly the Pandaren. That's not actually 100% confirmed. But those are the three races we're pretty sure are the original sentient sapient races of Azeroth, right? I mention this because there's a major tauren out. There have been 3 major areas where tauren have grown up. Here in Kalimdor, here in Northrend, and here in Pandaria. And all 3 of them are a bit different from each other because of the way they were raised and because of the things they had to go through throughout the course of their culture's history. So these are the Tonka. Well, I'll be talking about in a little bit more detail once we actually get to them.
How may I aid you?
The Tonka are actually really interesting because they're basically just like the Taurens if you changed one little thing about the Taurens. But again, I'll talk about that later. I am Longrunner Nanek of the Tonka, sent by the chieftain of the Camp Winterhoof to seek out allies in the fight against the Vrykul. They mass to the west and south of our village, and though we slay 10 of them for every one of our dead, we cannot hold. Apothecary Skillis has promised to send brave paladins northwest to our aid. Will you help my people fend off the Vrykul assaults?
Goodbye.
I will. But much later. Yes, we should do whatever we can to help them. Longrunner, your fodder people will be a valuable resource against the Vrykul. Did I see resource? I meant ally. Yes, G-Juice. Absolutely, without hesitation or question. For all the horrible things in the world of Azeroth, I know it inside and out, and it's better than the world I live in right now. So, yeah, I would make that decision in a heartbeat. The only thing I would ask is the ability to bring some of my family with me. Because I know at least a few of them would come with me. And if they didn't want to, then I would say goodbye. Because screw this planet. So you might wonder what I'm doing just randomly killing the Winter Scorn here. This is actually an interesting quest design. Basically, you have to kill enough to spawn a boss. But this is actually a mechanic we've seen before. And actually killing those guys is what actually does it. Fun fact, though, killing them is not what gives you credit. Yes and no, Zewan. I have discovered spoilers for that. I will discuss those later with the big word spoilers in front of it. Oh, I need to pick that image up so I have the spoilers thing. So this is another example of how the quest design has evolved. Let's say I'm here killing these guys. Kind of like I am. So, kill, kill, kill. And let's say that some other player comes along and they're not grouped with me, but they want to get credit on this quest. No problem. You might be like, well, what do you mean? Killing the named is not what actually gives credit on the quest. Anyone can kill the named. Anyone can get credit on the name because what actually gives you credit is a separate item you use on their corpse, which anybody can use. This is the beginning of a new design philosophy that has been improving every single expansion from Wrath onwards. The idea is being able to share credit with people you're not grouped with, rather than competing for the same quest things. Call me a weirdo, but I'm one of those people who is hugely in favor of that idea. I really like the fact of being able to help out other people despite not actually being grouped with them. And I like the fact of not having to compete for spawns or constantly be waiting for a respawn or whatever. That's the kind of cooperative playstyle I actually prefer. You guys saw how many times in Outland I was just sitting there waiting on a respawn because some other player had gotten it, right? fact, I'm going to drag this guy over here just to make sure she sees this. Because I want her to get credit for this. Ah, crap. Hey, use your thing on this guy. I know, right, Deacon? It's weird, ain't it? As I say, like I said, in each further game, they improve the whole, the tagging tech quite a bit. In Pandaria, a few specific mobs will share credit across everything, like the rare Nyatas, and most quest mobs will share credit across faction. Like if a horde will not have a competition with a horde. And in Legion, apparently, that's going to be taken to its furthest extent, where anybody tagging it gets credit, which is awesome, by the way. So, I would probably roll anything that comes out, so I'm not that picky. So this is Utgarde Keep. Now, I kind of showed off this massive edifice earlier. This is the capital city, I should say, capital fortress of the Vrykul, okay? Now, the Vrykul in general have... They're kind of... It's hard to explain exactly what's up with the Vrykul, culturally speaking, without really going into it. And I kind of want to save that for when we go through in our alliance, where it's a little more relevant. So all I want you to know right now is the Vrykul are giants, and they're very old. They were originally Titan races, similar to a lot of other races like dwarves and gnomes. And they have a uniquely... both simultaneously advanced and unadvanced technology. They are very, very skilled at warfare and basically nothing else. Hang on just a second.
What brings you here?
Of our entire recon party, only I remain. These Vrykul are relentless fighters, given their numbers and their savage tactics, and our only hope is to bring down their leader and pray it brings chaos to the likes.
Hello.
We must discover the secret to the savages' weapons. If you'd seen how easily they cut through my companions, you'd understand my sense of urgency. These are not actually Titans. These are Titan creations. Again, like dwarves and like gnomes. Yeah, Deacon. I'm kind of with you on that one. And yeah, if you go straight from Outland here in a normal leveling thing, like for example, if you're level 68 when you come here, which is what I normally do, you will get geared very, very quickly. Yes, that's a breathing skull. That's one of their furnaces. They use that to smelt their weapons because... yeah. Their culture actively degenerated, but it was kind of enforced by a third-party situation. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into it just yet. They're also very skilled at taming and working with the proto-drakes. Which are also... so I'm going to discuss the proto-drakes very, 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 very briefly. Proto-drakes are dragons that don't really have sentience or sapience. They are intelligent, but they are intelligent like a wolf is intelligent. They are not actually intelligent. You follow? Yeah, no kidding, Psychotic. I am going to kill this monk. Stop spamming, asshole. Anyways, so yeah, that's the summary of proto-drakes. Most of the dragons we've seen are actually descendants from the aspects who are kind of different. For obvious reasons, including that whole intelligence thing. So here we have one of the war councils here, a war pavilion, if you will. And there's Keleseth. He's actually not the last boss in here, which always amused me, because the Sand Lane in general are not actually... why am I tanking these things? The Sand Lane in general are not actually leaders. They're more like bureaucrats. I think I've described this before. Try to parallel them. Try to parallel them to the.
Aronel Ladell, their fate shall
God, I can't think of their names all of a sudden. The people, the Wayoon's people in Deep Space Nine. Because other people are picking them up somewhere. Interesting monk facts. They're awesome. Ah, what's their frickin'... That's gonna bother me. Vorta.
Join the night.
The Vorta. So yes, Keleseth and the Sand Lane in general tend to have the same role as the Vorta. Also, this is a nice touch. They actually have a map with things here. There's the Keep, there's the Alliance, there's the Forsaken Camp, there's the Alliance Camp, and there's... well, what are those? It doesn't matter. I'm sure it'll be no biggie. So the Sand Lane in general are not actually leaders or rulers. They're just administrators and advisors. They help with the little details and the actual logistics of making the actual orders happen. They are what Zeiss, for example, would probably refer to as the Middlers. Interesting tidbits about the monks. Well, this monk's an asshole, and I hope he dies. I'm just going to mute the sound while we're not actually fighting anything. Oh, are they finally done picking them up? Oh, thank God. I can finally start picking up weapons. I usually let other people finish off their weapons first. There's plenty of weapons in this place. This is the only one I'm doing today, most likely, Hylisk. Since I need to quit in, looks like about an hour and a half or so. No way in hell I'm finishing Fjord. He is, Deutsch. There's your lore. That guy's a dick. No, seriously, though. That particular monk... Okay, what can I talk about monks that I don't want to save for later? Monks are a form of magical warriors. They actually do use magical attacks in the course of their attacks. So they're not just purely martial artists. To explain what I mean in Final Fantasy terms, the monks here are Sabin, not Yang. Yang was a pure martial artist, whereas Sabin was a monk. In case you guys are wondering what the hell he's doing, you see that right there? That bell that keeps showing up right there? He's just spamming that. It's a buff that he's spamming over and over and over and over, just to be an irritant. He's doing it because every time it happens, there's this shakung sound effect. Shakung, shakung, shakung. And he's doing it just to piss people off, because he's a dick. It's okay. Soon he will be dead. Okay, maybe not. In fact, who is that guy? I just want to call him out for being a dick. Is that him? No. Is that him? Is that him? Is that him? It's the healer. It's the healer. So, attention, Aurelia Jenkins on the Illidan server. You're a dick! Alright, we're done. Yeah, the runecasters on these trash are terrible. The buffs they give are insane. You notice this guy still has a bubble that he was given by that runecaster. That's how strong they are. Usually just wait for them to run out. So, so I never actually read the Keleseth thing. The Lich King deployed Keleseth to Utgarde Keep in hopes of harnessing the Vrykul's potential for destruction. Upon arriving, the ambassador found a people who were more than eager to assist the Scourge. The keep proved to be an excellent staging point for terrorizing the fjord, and he has no intention of losing it to insolent trespassers.
Run. See if you can muster the nerve to join my attack.
By all means, don't assess the situation, you half-wit. Just jump into the fray.
So this is a Necromancer and a Vrykul. They hate each other. Whichever one you kill first gets resurrected and keeps coming.
Over. Yet.
Scarvold, you incompetent slug.
Return and make yourself useful is what he says there for the finishing. Turning the music back off so I can stop hearing that. So, That was Skarvald and Dalron. It is a Vrykul tradition to make unlikely partners. Are we just... Yeah, we're just doing... some say it's to allow the divergent abilities to complement each other. Others say it's for the amusement of King Yimiron. Regardless, Skarvald and Dalron are a perfect example of this custom. Between a Vrykul's brawn and a human's necromantic arts, they will punish any who meddle with the Scourge. And they also hate each other's guts, as I pointed out earlier. Runes, but I've already talked about runic magic. Also, I'm kind of talking about other stuff. In fact, that brings me to my next point. Some people have wondered why the Vrykul are so dangerous. Because they're fairly unadvanced. Well, actually, it's two big things that make the Vrykul a threat. Thing number one, they are very skilled in the art of war. There's a couple of examples of this across fiction, but despite the fact that they are relatively unadvanced both magically and in terms of technology, all of their magic, all of their technology, all of their knowledge is geared towards fighting, towards warfare. That's all they do. So, compared to other more advanced races, they're technically better in a fight. Similarly, that allows them to be a threat to people who are otherwise better armed, more numerous, or more advanced than they are. The second thing that the Vrykul have going for themselves is runic magic. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is runic magic, if you didn't catch my discussing it earlier. And that discussion will wait, because first we got a boss to go after. Ingvar the Plunderer. Which, yeah, we'll talk about him in just a second, because I hate you, monk!
Paint my face with your blood!
Oh, that's just gross. Oh yeah, that's another thing. The Vrykul are gross. Well, at one point, one of the Vrykul is like, I will make your intestines into a necklace, to which I'm like, that sounds really, really gross.
My life for the death god!
And that is a Valkyr.
Ingvar, your pathetic failure will serve as a warning to all. You are damned. Arise and carry out the Master's will.
I return! A second chance to carve your skull!
I would get behind the pillar, but I don't think I need to. Well, he's still a dick for doing it. Also, I actually thought of that earlier, Timzo, and I looked to make sure I had done my buff.
Better I can!
Ugh. Okay, so, that was Ingvar. Ingvar's brute strength is legendary even amongst the Vrykul. Rumor has it he once bested Yimiron in a brawl. The truth is unknown, but purveyors of that tale usually don't live for a retelling. Ingvar has promised the Lich King he'll use all measures of brutality to hold the keep, a promise he dares not break. Because if he fails, he gets turned into that thing. So there are two types of undead Vrykul that the Valkyr can raise them up as. One of them is an ascended undead. They are I forget what they're actually called. We'll see them later. They are powerful, strong. They have all the benefits of the undeath and none of the weaknesses. And the other is that thing. Basically, this is the equivalent of being a human being turned into a ghoul, aka you have failed and you're useful for nothing more than fodder. Now, that's not literally true, because even a normal undead Vrykul would be very useful to the Lich King's forces. But this enables him to maintain his control over the Vrykul people, because this way, this is a punishment. Culturally speaking, they look at this as a tremendous shame, even though technically this form of rotting Vrykul is still stronger than a normal Vrykul, is still something that is an upgrade, is a buff, basically. He technically still would be ascended in most thoughts processes, but for him, this is a shameful thing. Again, it's a cultural cultural aspect, which I like. And it helps the Lich King to maintain control over the Vrykul in order to perpetuate this lie. Now, if you've been paying attention, most of the later BC dungeons have some way to exit the dungeon at the ending, so you don't have to go all the way back through it, right? Well, they did kind of a funny one in this one. And how many of you here have died to this one thanks to Death Knights? So what you do, because of course you don't take falling damage when you fall into water. It's actually kind of clever, really. I actually know a few people who didn't even know about this back in the day. Bonk. And as you can see, we're all the way back down at the bottom. I suppose I can turn the sound back on now that that monk's gone.
Listening.
Keleseth is out of the way? Excellent. That'll make our task here all the simpler. Hey, a real upgrade. Check it out. Oh, and a ding! Hey, Azura. Oh, I'm in the wrong position. Hang on. Let's do it like right here. There we go. Hi. Okay.
Hello.
Were you able to steal their arms? Every blade we take from them is one less embedded in a soldier's flesh. Thank you. Is this... Yeah, this is necklace. That doesn't matter. Did I already put the bracers on? Yeah, I did. Okay. Of course, that's not going to be better. Although, we'll do that really quick.
What brings you here?
Excellent work, Valvaxis. With their leaders removed, our efforts against these Vrykul should be more successful. The service in this matter should not go unrewarded. Why don't I replace that seal I got from Shadowfang Keep? Huh? What do you guys think? Is that a thing I should do? What's this compared to that? God, look at that. Yeah, anyways. So, leave dungeon. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention... Oh, crap. One of the things that was mentioned about Ingvar's blade, it wasn't sharp. I want to stress that again. His axe, his bladed axe, wasn't sharp. Now, there's only two possibilities there. Number one, it's not intended to be an axe, which just means they're dumb. Option number two... option number two is he doesn't really intend to keep it that well sharp because he has enough raw physical strength to just push it through his enemies. For those of you not aware, force over area applied is what cuts, okay? So the smaller the area your force is being applied, the sharper it is, the more it will cut. So for example, even a normal person can cut through something with a sharp blade, even if they don't have a lot of strength to push by it. But a more dull blade, if you had enough sufficient strength, you could theoretically cut through it, just by raw force. You just have to apply more of it, right? You see where I'm going with this. So yeah, that's also a very Vrykul kind of a thing right there. Now I have to kill guys for a bit, so forgive me. Because I got interrupted by the dungeon queue. Yeah, I'm high enough level now that I'm just mauling these guys. They are officially green for me. But that's okay. It's a Lorerun. I have no interest in freezing my experience gain for a Lorerun. Yeah, you're also a lot less likely to just be able to mend the wound, as Psychotic just pointed out. Yeah, so the Vrykul are pretty brutal people. They don't just want to hurt you. They just don't want to just beat you. They want to absolutely destroy you. Part of that comes from the fact that they feel they were betrayed by the old gods. And by the old gods, I mean the Titans, not the old gods. That was just me mixing up the names there. Yes, we will be doing Grizzly Hill on both sides. So there will be a Worgen there, yes. Ironically. What was I saying? So the Vrykul, like I said, were originally stone creatures. Crafted creatures of the Titans, similar to the Earthen and a bunch of other creatures. Now, here's the interesting fact. The Iron Vrykul are not what the Vrykul originally looked like. The theoretical original Vrykul would have been Earthen, kind of like the Earthen Dwarves, I mean. They would have been similar to that. But we've never actually seen the original Vrykul. There's never been any depiction of them across any form or fiction whatsoever. So, oh, there we go. So we don't actually know what they're like. We do know they were a Titan creation, though. And we do know that impaling corpses with banners is fun. There we go. Hello, Nicolao? I don't know how to say that. But hello. The history of the Doomhammer. There's not actually a lot of history of the Doomhammer as far as prior to Warcraft 3. So forgive me. The long and the short of it is that once upon a time there was a Vrykul who really wanted to kill me, apparently. Look at that. He came all the way up through all these soldiers just to kill me. That's great. There was a mace that was actually forged by and with the elements of Draenor, in conjunction with them by a member of the Blackrock clan. Now, this hammer was actually intended to be given to a certain individual named Orgrim. It was literally done as part of a pact made between Orgrim and the elements. Now, history diverges between Warlords of Draenor, you know, the alternate Draenor and our Draenor. But in our Draenor, that hammer remained within the hands of Orgrim and helped him to retain focus. It's one of the reasons why he was able to partially resist the fell corruption that everyone else fell to. It gave him tremendous access to the elements. It was, in fact, a shaman weapon, not a martial weapon. I mean, you could hit someone with it just fine, just like any other hammer, but it was designed to be a conduit between its user and the elements. And as long as Orgrim or anyone who had the blessing of the elements wielded it, they would retain those benefits. There's actually not a lot to say after that, until we get to the point where he gave it to Thrall, and Thrall, being a tremendously powerful shaman who was well in tune with the elements, had the blessing of the elements and therefore could use it to its full potential. That's actually kind of it. That's the lore of the Doomhammer. Forgive me. There's not much there, like I said. So,
What we do?
you do some good killing over there. I see Vrykul men fall and get stabbed with Sylvanas' flag. Our side is doing good. Yeah, we'll pick up that.
Happy entrails.
I said, did I say enhancement weapon? Because I meant shaman weapon. Whatever. Them Vrykuls just keep coming and coming out of town west of here. No end in sight. Gorth have idea. You go inside town, kill Winterscorn there. Then they stop coming here. Killing Winterscorn may be not enough. Maybe we burned our houses too, and bridges. We should burn whole town to be safe. Take this torch. Burn everything. That teach them good. Happy entrails. And yes, he really did say that.
Us hear and obey.
So this is funny, by the way. Gorth is confused sometime. Gorth is good at killing people, so Gorth is made sergeant. But now Gorth never gets to kill anything. That's right, he was literally a byproduct of... Oh shoot, I can't think of what that's called. There's a term in corporate America where you're promoted past the point of your... There's a giant around here, isn't there? Holy crap, he's right there. Jeez! No wonder the screen was shaking so bad. Promoted past the point of your competence. So this is a Storm Giant. Those of you who are paying attention during my run through Noxoramus kind of already know how this is, how and what these are. But I kind of wanted to showcase a living one before you see the many, many, many undead one. In truth, the Storm Giants as a whole are basically a they're not facing extinction, but they are definitely an endangered species at this point in time because the Scourge has been actively poaching them en masse in order to turn them into undead soldiers. And it's obvious why. These are very, very useful undead. I mean, holy crap. I'll talk a little bit more about the Storm Giants at some point. I'll talk about the Giants in general at some point. No, not nepotism. You're going to make me look this up. Hang on, hang on. Peter Principle. Peter Principle is what I was referring to. The only thing we know about Storm culture, to my knowledge, is nothing. I'm serious. Now, we know of a Storm Giant culture. Well, actually, no, we don't. We know of a Frost Giant culture, so we could extrapolate based off of that. But other than the fact that the Storm Giants were one of the more elite servitors of the Titans, that's about all we got. I'm sorry, Midgardsorm. I hope my enthusiasm is not infectious. That's right, we're burning bridges as the Forsaken. Excuse me. Yes, they do, Zoan Joker, in the similar manner that the Sea Giants do. AKA not very often. We do also know that they are effectively immortal, even after being affected by the Curse of Flesh. And they really, really, really do not like dealing with other races. Even if it's on a beneficial level. Their basic reaction to having to deal with a mortal race or a normal race is like, go away. And that's the Storm Giants, who are like some of the nicer of the bunch. You should see how some of the other Giants react with lesser races. Oh yeah, by the way, these guys have anti-air turrets. Which again goes back to what I was talking about. The Vrykul may not be very advanced, but they are very specialized. Actually, that's a good way to explain what they are. They are literally hyper-specialized. Theradress actually wasn't a giant. She was an elemental princess. Therazane's daughter. That'll come up in Deepholm and Cataclysm in general. So, when we go through Maradun. Because we'll be going through Maradun. Trying to avoid that guy. Okay. That wasn't too bad. So why don't we go ahead and head over here? Yeah, no kidding, Psychotic. I am amazed we managed to gain her respect. The Earthen Ring didn't get her respect. We did. You must have lots of practice with killing things. You almost as good as Gorth. I guess you burned everything. I see a couple of spots not burning, but is close enough for Gorth.
Happy entrails.
The Vrykools in Balheim is completely defeated, no doubt about it, but still their leader stays in town and won't give up. Gorth sent Lydal and his assassins to make good ambush to the northwest. You talk to Lydal, figure out how to get Vrykool Chieftain to come out. Then you kill him. You kill him good. By the way, I love the idea of being a member of the Forsaken and taking orders from an abomination. Let me think about that for a moment. And yeah, that's a free-willed abomination, not a enslaved abomination. Also kind of in common.
Speak quickly.
We showed up to the party, but the guest of honor stayed home. The Vrykool are being clever about this. Fortunately, I have a trick up my sleeve. This leader of theirs, Bjorn, is a real hothead. We've pieced together enough of their language to fashion what we think is a good insult. Something about barnyard animals, we're not sure. Take this piece of paper and read it to him. Once he starts chasing you, lure him back here. We'll make sure he doesn't make it out alive.
Remember, patience.
Alright, let's get ready to read this piece of paper to him. I'm not actually sure what's on it. Also, note the quest item has a 10-second cooldown instead of a minute cooldown. Because this is no longer BC. Alright. Bjorn Matje Holgar Saigar. To which he says, "No one speaks of my mother in that manner." Yeah. Your mother was a hamster, by the way. It's not actually that lewd, for those of you wondering. So another nice little quest design. They force you up against an elite, but then they give you tons of help to kill him, including a super poison that just obliterates him.
What would you ask of death?
Nice work. Poor sap never saw it coming.
Watch your back.
With that done, I think the Winter Scorn are dealt with. So I kind of want to show something off. This is different colors, but this is what I mean by the armor in Northrend as a little more cohesive with itself. Because it's all the same general set design. There's like 3 or 4 different models. In Kata, that would decrease from 3 or 4 to 1. And good night, Myron. I'm mounting on ground because I kind of want to just enjoy the trip. Sorry, guys. It's okay, I have an ulterior motive. And that's the fact that I want to kind of show off the architecture of the Vrykool. We've already seen their fortress. That's that massive thing over there, which we just went through a portion of, Utgarde Keep. In fact, just to show this off while I'm here. So you see this spot right here? It should look familiar, because this is literally where we went and fought Ingvar. Right here. Doesn't look exactly the same, but you can tell that's the spot. It's a nice little touch. Like I said, that's Lower Utgarde. Yes, that's carved in the face of a skull. It's a pretty big citadel overall. We'll be going through it upper much, much later. And just kind of showing off the architecture in general. It looks really nice, but what I really want to show off is these things. So, Vrykool culture is big on exploitation. Again, it's kind of the... You'll notice a lot of cultures have that theme in Warcraft, now that I think about it. To them, the dragons in particular are something they constantly want to enslave and utilize. That is actually a or several proto-dragon's skins. Tanned and cured and then placed over their buildings as a ceiling. And they've got the unique angled arches style, which I forget what that's called, but it's a style of architecture. And of course, massive chunks of iron plating, not just to make it look intimidating, but to make it more defensible. Furthermore, you might be like, well, why, if they're so exploitative, what makes them different from all the other races? Well, when I say exploitative, I mean I mean in a slightly different way than the other races. They don't just see everything as a resource to be consumed, not like the Amani or the Gurabashi trolls. They look at this sort of thing and they think, we are strong. We want to prove to ourselves and to everyone around us that we are strong. So in order to do that, we're going to find the biggest, strongest thing in this whole continent and subdue it to hell and back. We're going to use them for food. We're going to use them for leather and clothing and armor and for our weapons and for our houses. And we're going to ride them and we're going to keep them as pets. And I'm obviously referring to proto-drakes, by the way. So a lot of their culture has developed around manipulation and usage and, frankly, extensive usage of proto-drakes to the point where even a single proto-drake is almost nothing about a proto-drake, even one that is killed, goes to waste in Vrykul culture. They use all of it. I have no idea, Milan. I can't help you with that. I don't know any private servers. I could make some parallels to real-life human societies, but the general idea is they're proving how amazing they are by continuously using that incredible creature in such a mundane way. And as an honor to it, as a respect to it for it being the strongest creature, they make sure none of it goes to waste, like I mentioned earlier.
What now?
As our armies march through Northrend, our enemies will not suffer mere defeat. Their houses will burn. Their corpses will be devoured by our plagues. All trace of their existence will be lost. And this worries me as a seeker of knowledge. The eastern town of Niflvar. I'm not even going to try as the one Joker, okay? I don't even want to get into it. The eastern town of Niflvar will soon be razed by our forces in Vengeance Landing. The Vrykul bard Helgis lived there, and he wrote 3 sagas. The Saga of the Twins, the Saga of the Winter Curse, and the Saga of the Valkyr. Obtain them before Niflvar is destroyed.
Beware. Our enemies.
I am listening.
We await reinforcements from Vengeance Landing to move against Niflvar. If we were to capture it earlier, though, it would provide us a great tactical advantage over the Alliance. Head into town and see if you can put a dent in their numbers. Now you're probably like, what do you mean, the Alliance? First of all, they're still being stupid. But second of all, that's the Alliance camp right there. Now that's not their only camp. They actually have another Alliance town pretty much that way through the fog. But yeah, that's having this fortification would probably help them take out the Alliance. Which is, of course, really, really stupid, but we've already talked about that. So they haven't completely fixed the questing design here. So we still have to kill 5 warriors, 4 runeseers, and 4 hunting hounds. I'll explain a little bit more what I mean about that later. But this is still something that is subject to the possibilities of cherry picking in terms of having trouble getting the specific spawns you want. Also, fun fact, several people probably have no idea that those quests that I just picked up are even there, because there's no go-tos and no other indicators that you can go get them. There's the Saga of the Valkyr. Which it's not going to tell me the saga. Damn it, I was hoping to share it with you. No, well. The mere fact that they have poets in their society is interesting, but not that surprising. If you were paying attention, all three of those sagas that were mentioned there are sagas that were are sagas that have to do with war or glory in combat or something of those lines, because that's pretty much all their society revolves around. Now you might think, oh my god, it's another Klingon society. Well, yes and no. As they are now, these basically are Klingons. I'm actually not going to argue that. They didn't used to be, though. Once upon a time, the Vrykul were Titan servitors. Remind me, Zawan, because I probably won't actually remember. So they were Titan servitors, and they were very severely affected by the curse of flesh. And I mean very severely. It was bad. They actually didn't even fully survive as a functional race. Now, they had revered the Titans as gods up until that point in time. But then when they tried to go to the Titans for aid or help or service, you know, somebody to try and fix this horrible plight they were in, the Titans didn't answer. The Watchers didn't respond to them, and the Titans themselves were gone. Well, after some time, basically the logical thing happened. They started to believe that the Titans had abandoned them, and then furthermore, they started to think, wait a minute, the Titans didn't abandon us. They're the ones who cursed us with this. And it was actually quite logical from their perspective. What other beings in the world were sufficiently powerful to completely utter an entire race of people to be made of stone and then shift them into being made out of flesh? I mean, that's not the kind of thing just anybody could do. So it had to be the Titans, their own creators. So they abandoned the Titans, and that's pretty much when this new culture of, you know, screw everything, and we want to prove our strength and prove our discipline and the exploitative nature of taking the proto-drakes and all that fun stuff all started.
What brings you here?
Excellent work. When our forces from Vengeance Landing arrive, we'll be able to take care of any Vrykul that are left. Hello, Lilix.
What would you ask of death?
The scrolls? Did you obtain them? Ah, this is of tremendous value. I must renew my efforts in salvaging and translating Vrykul texts. Oh, don't get me wrong. Our enemies do need to be destroyed, but their knowledge doesn't.
Beware the living.
I have to admit, I like the idea of a Forsaken who actively tries to preserve the history of the races they conquer. I think she does, yes, Cashel. Favorite mount I can buy on the shop. There are several I really like, and a few I've actually bought. I gotta remind myself here. So I bought this one. Which is not... Oh, there we go. I bought this one. This is the mount I use on my Death Knight. It looks awesome. I don't really feel like I need to explain. And I bought this one. There's actually a story behind this one I keep meaning to share and I haven't gotten around to. And I also bought this one. This is my Hunter's mount because it just suits her perfectly. So one of those three that I actually did sink money into would be my pick. Before you think too ill of me, by the way, I bought all three of these when they were on sale. There was actually a half-off sale a few months ago. I think it was around Thanksgiving or something like that. No, it was before then. Whatever. So this is just an awesome-looking bridge, in my opinion. We're going to go over it once and then a second time. I really want to showcase it. As you can see, this is going way over the river down there. And as you can see, it's literally the bridge is coming out of the dragon's heads on both edges here. Again, dragon iconography is very common amongst the Vrykul for the reasons I mentioned earlier. You think that's bad, Psychotic? I knew someone who really, really enjoyed this mount. And, I mean, okay, sure. I hate it. It looks really ugly to me. But I did know someone who really liked this mount and bothered to buy it. Just because they thought it looked amazing. So here we are, New Agamond, named after the Agamond Mills family. I hate everything, G-Juice. Everything that is not of me must be terrible. But seriously, I just don't care for it, that's all. It doesn't bother me that much, someone, because I'm weird. No, seriously, that's what it boils down to. If you're going to charge money for cosmetics, okay. That really, really doesn't bother me. I could talk about the actual marketing scheme involved. I could talk about the pressure that it does. I could talk about how the argument that it's completely optional is actually wrong. But it has never bothered me when you charge for cosmetic stuff, so... I am weird.
What now?
We, plague bringers, tend to be slightly more practical than the average apothecary. After all, we deal with the logistics of deploying the plague. That doesn't mean our theoretical background isn't rock solid. We just prefer the more hands-on tasks. This strain is far from worthless, my friends. Those fools at Vengeance Landing had all the answers right under their own noses. We've been spraying down the Vrykul village of Halgrind for weeks now, and the Vrykul just won't drop dead. Let's face it, Valvaxis. By now, our plague has been exposed to humans, dwarves, dogs, livestock, you name it. As our strains adapt to more hosts, more impurities get thrown into the mix. What we need is a strain custom-built for Vrykul biology. Halgrind's chieftain fled the town after we took it over. You'll find him west of here. As patriarch of the Dragonflayer clan, his blood is ideal.
Trust no one.
Oh, as an aside, I will say one thing that is not cool about the purchase cosmetic things. Where is it? So you see this mount right here? This is actually, in lore, the mount of the Grinning Skull clan of orcs, who we actually work together with in Warlords. This mount should be the exalted reputation reward for getting to exalted with them. I'm sorry. It should be. Just the end. That there's no arguing that. It's their mount. That's how you should get it. But no, you get some worthless wolf or boar. I don't even remember. It's something ridiculous and stupid. You need to actually get that thing from the shop. It's an awesome mount. It even has a flying mode. But no. Anyways, moving on. So she's building abominations there, as you can see. I'm pretty sure that's how you build an abomination. You just kind of hack away at it for a while. The Curse of Flesh is a long and complicated topic, but it boils down to this. The old gods sent out a curse, which is obviously a magical curse, that converted creatures of the more lithivoric nature, aka stone beings, iron beings, that kind of a thing, and converted them into flesh. That's pretty much it. That's the summary. Oh, it'll be great, Hylisk. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And you are...
My work should be extremely easy in a time of war. There should be usable body parts everywhere. It's not that simple, though. With these eggheads making all sorts of killer plagues and sending them to enemy towns, most of the material gets contaminated. There is one place, though, where usable samples exist. Shield Hill, just south of here. It's an ancient Vrykul burial ground, where the dead walk but are not afflicted with the plague. Ours or the Lich King's. Get me some bones, and I'll pay you well.
Goodbye.
And then she sings, the foot bone's connected to the hip bone's connected to the other bone. Do, 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 do. Yes, the Curse of Flesh affected the Earthen, which created the dwarves and the Trog. It affected the Mechanomes, which created the gnomes. It affected the Vrykul, which created the humans. It affected the Tolvir, which created the Tolvir. They kept the name. And so forth and so on. There's a couple of... All of the giants, the sea giants, the storm giants, the creatures whose name I can't think of, but the big rock giants, all of those used to be Titan constructs as well, and they were affected by the Curse of Flesh as well. Some more than others. Sea giants were very severely affected by it.
What now?
This new plague we've been working on is wonderful. I think we should expand its testing. How about testing it on proto-whelps? Oh, just think of the possibilities. The ability to affect humanoids, but extend our reach to any creature. Here, I've hoarded an extra plague canister for the right time and place, and you look like the right person. spray the eggs at the Ember Clutch, and get specimens from the plagued protowhelps that hatch.
Trust no one.
Different specializations, the one Joker. Different uses. Not every abomination is supposed to be a big killing machine, after all. And yes, the Mogu are another example of creatures that were affected by the curse of flesh. Oh yeah, by the way, spoiler alert, humans used to be Vrykul. But I really want to talk about that more when we're doing the Alliance, for reasons that should be really obvious. Hey, Swedish. I'll just rip out some of his blood there. Oh, wait, I probably shouldn't drink all of it. So these are the Fell Reavers of the Fjord. They pretty much serve the exact same purpose. And they would kill the crap out of me if I tried to go after them, so I'm not going to. The only difference is the Fell Reavers had a larger aggro radius. Seriously, that's the difference, gameplay-wise.
I am forsaken.
Have you obtained the sample I require? This will do. It's time for some real apothecary work now. You've done so well, I'd like to teach you some of my more advanced techniques, so you may better understand, gain a better understanding of the plague. Oh, okay, so this is a funny quest.
Beware the living.
Okay, so we've got a cauldron full of Vrykul blood, and we've got some plague samples. So let's go ahead and fill the vial. There we go. Let's mix here. Nope. Nope, that doesn't appear to be a working concoction. We appear to have made some kind of sparking gas of doom. Okay, that's not a big deal. Why don't we try over here again? Let's see. What else can we mix it with? Let me think here. Oh, screw you, Zoan. Oh, wow! Second try. This usually takes like 5 times. A lot of different effects can happen. It can spawn a bunch of slimes. It can send you flying through the air. It can just plain explode. Or it can win.
Speak quickly.
How is your experiment going, Valvaxis? Let me know if you have any questions about the science involved. Ah, excellent! You are an apt pupil. Now comes the fun part. Deployment! Now that we have a strain of the plague that is adapted to our Vrykul carriers, we really ought to test it on our specimens in Halgrind. If all goes according to plan, they will disintegrate immediately as the plague devours their innards. You will find Halgrind north of here. Our plague bringers are just ploying the previous strain. It shouldn't be too hard to spot.
Beware. Our enemy is abound.
By the way, most of these guys have those helmets on. When even the Forsaken have have gas masks on, you know they're dealing with something pretty dangerous. Actually, they do quite a few different forms of alchemy, Schmeidolf. There are quite a few alchemists and apothecaries who are not evil, and then there's quite a few who are ambivalent towards being evil. I think it's probably the nicest way I could put that. Why don't we go and do this quest right now? Hey, Dios. So we have a little bit to discuss about these guys. I think we'll save this until we're going through the Borean Tundra. When we go through the Borean Tundra, that's when I'll really start talking about the Valkyr. Now, the Valkyr are a specific breed / offskirts slash... I don't even know what the hell to call them. Of the Vrykul. And for the longest time, we've had no idea what the hell they were. Like, literally, we didn't know what they were. It's like, okay, they're not undead, but they're not, like... I don't know what the hell these guys are. There's something. There's some kind of Vrykul. Maybe they're just pretending? Maybe they're using this as some kind of a way to, affect their opponents, so their opponents are all demoralized? I mean, we didn't know. We didn't know. We know now. And I will share that with you when we get there. For now, all you have to know is that these are the risen bones of the Vrykul. And the reason these are risen is because there are pirates in the area. No, I'm serious. These pirates... excuse me. These pirates decided to try and plunder the hell out of these Vrykul tombs, excuse me, because that's always a great idea, right? Grave robbing in a setting where the dead being disturbed causes them to get up and kill things. I mean, that's just a great frickin' idea. Seriously. Obviously that didn't turn out well. I don't want to talk too much about that yet because we're actually going to be doing those quests. But, yeah. Let's see. So we're going to do that quest. Okay, so let's go and do this quest next. Sorry, I was just thinking about my route. Unlike in, say, Cataclysm or Pandaria, you don't have to do previous quests to do later quests. So I could do this in whatever order I actually wanted to. But I'm trying to follow the overall thread of the narrative for obvious reasons. I should probably stop ground mounting to speed things up. Hey, Salty.
What now?
Whoops,
Embrace the shadow.
Wrong person. If I could have one mount from WoW in real life, which would it be? This one. Right here. I don't even have to think about that. This one.
What is it?
Thes'll do for now. There's some kind of oddness to these bones. I tell you, I've handled body parts for years now. I've never had such a weird feeling in my stomach. Anyways, a deal's a deal. Here's your payment. Thank you.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
So why don't we see what the Forsaken have been doing with this town over here, shall we? It's okay, I'm sure things are not incredibly gross and disgusting in every way, with giant chunks of goop and rotten plague matter on the buildings and oh my god. Yeah. This place looks pleasant. Actually, there's no flesh on a frost drake, really, other than on the wings, so probably not. Also, in my headcanon, the answer is still no. So, this is kind of gross. Now, you might ask, why exactly are the Vrykul just sitting down and taking this? Well, they kind of don't have a choice. They basically only get the Forsaken kind of conquered the area and just have these bases set up where they're more or less springing. You can see it right there. They're literally streaming a constant stream of this gas in there. Now, of course, it's not doing anything because they don't understand how a proper plague works. But it is giving them, it is weakening them, whoa, significantly. So they're all basically very, very sick right now. Like this guy who's literally just lying on the ground like, can barely even function. Yeah, these guys they're not doing so hot. You You'll notice these guys have, like, no health, too, by the way. Even if I wasn't high level, I'd be one-shotting them. That's how diseased and broken and in bad health they've become. So I'm just going to spray more and more and more plague all over them. I think that's the smart thing to do, right? I feel kind of bad doing this, even though these are definitively the bad guys. I mean, seriously, the Vrykul are not good people. Any more than the Vikings were. No, it's fine, Schmeidolf. I'm sure my bikini armor is more than enough safe protection for being in this incredibly plagued environment. I've got this. Yes, the light protects me. I should have gone through that whole area in Invuln just to roleplay. Like, oh god, don't let it touch me. Don't let it touch me. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Should switch to this while I'm doing this quest. Alright, it's time to plague the Proto-Elf. Oh, come on, really? Who would do that? Okay, there's one. It's time to plague some Proto-Whelps. Infuse the plague into them. Let's try that again. Infuse the plague. Infuse. There we go. Yes. Yes. Die. No, see, Hylisk, you understand. I'm sure the Forsaken are very interested in the highest possible safety precautions necessary for the work that they're doing. Oh, excuse me. You might wonder why I'm doing this, occasionally killing one. It's because somebody came through here before and tagged them without actually killing them, so they're grayed out, and I wouldn't get credit for it. No, that was from the Vrykul Psychotic. Although maybe that was from the dragon, I don't know. We'll find out in a second. Yeah, there was no gold off of that one. I like how this whole place is burning, by the way. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, though. You know, I always thought maybe the apothecaries were actually the good guys, and Hylisk, you've convinced me. Everyone should sign up with the local apothecary testing volunteer thing immediately. By the way, you want to think about a horrible quest? Remember the quest where you went through all that trouble to help a Tauren who had become plagued, basically, in the Undercity? That quest isn't even there anymore. And then, in the end, it doesn't go well. I'll just go ahead and summarize. Skip right to the finale. It doesn't go well for the Tauren. That poor, poor woman. And the whole time you're told you're looking for a cure for it. God, that was just terrible. Putris can go to hell. I should have run into him by now. Maybe he's over here. There he is. All things in nature seek balance. It is only through the interference of those not in tune with harmony that balance is shifted. You waste your efforts when you kill the whelps and the drakes. The real culprits behind the expansion of these magically burning woods are the newly awakened Vrykul and their master. Well, I'll tell you about it in a moment. Skeld the Drake song. If it's blood on your hands that you seek, start with them. You'll find their lair on the south side of the clutch. Yes, by the way, that is an Ent who is burning alive. That's gotta be terrible. Just... ugh. There is certainly a similarity there, Swedish. Also, I already have like 4 MMOs on my table to go through at some point, counting this one, counting Legion, really. So no promises. No promises. Especially since, from what I understand, Black Desert Online has a lot of PvP focus. So that's always a non-interest thing for me. I love the little run animation, by the way. Oh, whoop, I need to loot. I need to loot. Right, right. Oh, God. It's okay, Nicholas. So, yeah, this wood is burning. For this and other fascinating lore details, please continue to watch my show. All you have to do is pay $16.99 in order to be able to constantly have me tell you incredibly obvious, stupid things. I don't know. I don't know how to make fun of DLCs. I got nothing. Putress's blight did actually hurt the Lich King, yes. Didn't kill him. Didn't stop him. Didn't slow him down. It did hurt him, however. And now I'm competing with a goblin. Fantastic. Well, like I said, I need to go through Star Trek Online is another one. I need to go through Neverwinter. I need to go through Final Fantasy XIV. I need to go through Legion, so that's Neverwinter, STO, FF14, Legion. I'm missing one. By the way, I'm of the personal opinion that, based on how they had designed the Forsaken Blight, it would have never been able to kill the second Lich King. I'll explain why when we get to Dragon Blight and we actually discuss the Forsaken Blight. Because there's a lot to discuss when we get there, when we finish perfecting it. Because we're actually going to help them finish it up, because we're stupid, apparently. I don't know. But, yeah. Oh, Lotro, that's the other one, Lotro, because there's a couple of expansions I haven't gone through yet. I actually don't agree, QQ. Because remember, what Putress did really helped out Veramothras. And he was the one actually pulling the strings there. Excuse me.
I am forsaken.
Without those samples, how am I to tell if this latest strain of the plague can be expanded? What? No, that can't be right. Curses! This batch of the plague doesn't seem to have had any effect on them at all, other than make them glow green. My dream of using the plague upon anything we come into contact with has gone up in smoke. That poor man. Wait, that gives me an idea. What if we didn't kill the whelps because it was sprayed on the outside of their eggs? Valvaxis, we need to get the plague inside of them. I know. I've got some plagued meat right here. Take it to the clutch. Get them to eat it. No, we're thinking too small. Let's get one of the proto-drakes flying overhead to eat it. Yes! Stay close to the meat. Observe what happens. Yes, it might attack you, but such is the price of progress.
Goodbye. I am forsaken.
The plague didn't disintegrate our subjects? Are you certain, Valvaxis? There must be an external factor we're not accounting for. Low temperatures of the climate? A mutation in the strain? Being the practical man I am, I'm going to declare our research a success. After all, what army can't be stopped by turning its rank and file against each other? I will send word of our achievements to Vengeance Landing soon enough. But first I need you to take care of cleaning up our experimentation site. See Hacksaw about making you a custom abomination. One packing a little bit of, explosive power.
Trust no one.
I really, really doubt that, since Veramothras has been playing Sylvanas for a fool since vanilla. I'm sorry, since Warcraft 3. That's what the Nethrezim do. It's what they're good at. So, yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah, no kidding, Hylos. Oh my god. What do you want? Could you see I'm in the middle of something? Oh, he wants a demolition job? Yeah, I can help out. You're gonna have to get me some parts, though. I can't afford to use my choice components on something that's gonna get blown up. Let's see. I'm gonna need some ligaments. Some shovel tusk ligaments. They're way better than the human kind. I need about a pound of flesh, too. A fellow named Anton sells some cheap meat. So he's up that way.
Embrace the
So I'm going to go buy some meat and some ligaments. And with the bones I've already captured, we'll have our own custom abomination. Okay. Kill them all! All of them must die. Murloc noises. I do Murloc noises, but my throat hurts. We are apparently the Merchant of Venice. Psychotic. Die. All of you die. Oh, crap. I'm disoriented. Don't kill me. I'm too amazing to die. Oh, God, that's a lie. I'm terrible. Oh, I deserve to die. Oh, whew, we lived. Okay. Well, you say that, QQ, and yet if you think about it, that event reignited the war between the Horde and the Alliance for the first time in decades. That can't be a coincidence. You can't tell me that's a coincidence. Okay, this might be bad. Yeah, okay, we're okay, we're okay. Damn, I need one more. I need one more still. I also kind of liked cooking Northrend. They did something new with cooking. So you see this right here? It's called chilled meat. Chilled meat drops off of like every animal in all of Northrend. And it can be used to raise your cooking early on up to a certain point. Like a generic, it can be used for multiple recipes kind of a thing. Later on, you would get specific meats from specific animals in order to get the more specialized recipes. It was a nice way to vary it up. Pandaria would eventually take that to its furthest extent. Where are you? Looks like he's the other way. What's broken sword? Yeah, Blizzard's cinematics are... I cannot stop gushing about them. In addition just to their general graphical quality, they are...
What is it?
Incredibly high value when it comes to the thematic significance. There's not a lot of flash without substance in Blizzard cinematics. You know what I mean? I mean, there are other companies who could be argued to have better cinematic teams, and that's debatable. You know, I'm not here to discuss that. But the Blizzard cinematics, they don't have flash. They have substance. And I like that.
What do you require?
Excellent, yes, yes. These will do just fine. Here you are. Our friend's going to be somewhat unstable, so I suggest not putting them together until you reach Halgrind. Once you're there, use the abomination to round up as many Vrykul as you can before self-destructing. Come back with whatever's left once you're done. I can always use more body parts.
Do not seek death.
Succeeding you, Father. Yeah, I gotta be honest, the Pandaria one gives me chills, but then again, so does the Wrath one. And kinda so does the Kata one. Hell, even the Warlords one actually has some impact. So, you know, that's just... Yes, she literally just gave us a suicide abomination. Which we'll be using in just a moment. Alright. Let's see what this does to a Proto-Drake. So it's going to eat it. Nom, nom, nom. And then it vomits all over me. Wow, that was the best plague ever. We just invented Epicat. Isn't that great? Right, we need to go over this way. Whoop. Unfortunate that one predator must be put down. Another, but that is the natural order of things. Perhaps now the Proto-Drakes and their whelps can go back to living peacefully. Somehow, I doubt it with the reawakening of the Vrykul. Oh, but it has such unique and texture and flavor. Excuse me. So this quest is actually kind of hard to do properly. I'll explain why. So we got to run around, drag as many of these things together as we can in one bundle, and then kill them. A friend of mine and I used to go on, basically we would challenge ourselves to get as many as we could in a single explosion, without letting them despawn, you know? And that's the other problem, because they're very fragile, so it's very easy for them to explode. So yeah, I just wasted all that. So I just screwed that up. Because I was trying to be too greedy. Like I said, we used to make a game out of this. The actual best, which was not me, unfortunately, was a friend of mine actually managed to get all 20 in a single go. I don't know how the hell he pulled that off, but he did it. I was watching. I'm gonna be greedy again. Greed mode engaged. Okay, screw it. Well, there we go. Oh yeah, the Infernal one. Which was such a thing, Swedish. I don't know if you remember this, but back in Vanilla, it was quite a while before we could even summon an Infernal. And there was a whole quest thing. It wasn't actually a quest around getting it. Because Warlocks didn't actually have Infernal at default. Nowadays, summoning Infernal is actually a part of the Warlock kit. But
What is it?
as a cooldown, basically. That is true, Hylisk. That is true. They've been progressing a little bit over the years.
Trust no one.
Speak quickly.
No! The Plaguebringer begins to cry. All my hopes, all my dreams ruined. Leave me, Velvaxus. Leave me to my despair. I am nothing. Here, you might as well take the rest of my worldly possessions. When the rest of the apothecaries hear of my failure, I'll be done for, and I won't need them anyways. Oh, don't be silly. Surely you're exaggerating. The apothecaries are the good guys. They never kill you for failing. Right? Right? So who here can tell me any lore whatsoever about the Tuskarr? I'm just filling out the map a little bit because I want to take the lift. Wrong lift. Wrong lift. What I want's up here, actually. I feel really bad for him, Hylisk. By the way, I actually use Doomguard regularly as a cooldown in raids and whatnot. Hello! What's this? It's a Tuskarr! Behold! The Tuskarrs! They exist to be cute and yet also somehow intimidating.
Oh, you have my attention.
The path east of us is primary hunting trail of the Tuskarr. At least that's what it used to be. More recently, our hunters have been returning to Kamagua, claiming the dead have risen and are out for blood. This is what brought me and my son here. Elder Atuik asks we find a resolution to the bluffs. Will you assist in our time of need? I seek heroes willing to brave the perils of Shield Hill. Search the desecrated graves for clues and return your findings to me.
Travel the wastes with care.
So there's actually a decent amount of lore to the Tuskarr, not compared to like a playable race, but still, you know, comparable. There's more lore to them than there are to the frickin' gnolls, for example. Tuskarr, So first of all, the Tuskarr have a really severe focus, culturally speaking, on fishing. Okay, so Sonic Doctor, there's actually two answers to your question. In gameplay terms, they are a neutral race. Alliance and Horde players can both do Tuskarr quests. In lore, when the Horde got up here, they were able to coordinate with the Tuskarr and save them from their enemies. So the Tuskarr officially joined the Horde. So, yeah. Inconsistency. From sundered ground, the sacrament was stolen. The shield of Assarites is lost. Unrest will be eternal. By the way, I know I cut myself off in mid-sentence. I had to answer Sonic Doctor's question. And now I'm busy reading. The staff of Storm's fury is pilfered. A curse upon this land. The storms will never cease. Funnel cakes! Get your funnel cakes here! Please tell me someone gets that. The frozen heart of Bobface will consume this land until it is returned. Woe to them that hold the heart, as the curse of frozen blood besets them. And one more up here. The anguish of 10,000 years. Oh my god, it's Illidan. Awaits any foolish enough to don the ancient armor of the Kvaldir. Beware the mist and fog, mortals, for with them comes your end. There we go. Yeah, there's no plague here. They're just undead. It's not actually natural, though. Sorry. That is a bit of a Legion spoiler. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But we know why they're undead now, finally, thanks to Legion. Anyways. So the Tuskarr have a huge focus on fishing. It's a really big deal for them culturally. It's kind of funny because the the Vrykul have a big deal about the drakes, right? The proto-drakes. And they want to consume and use the drakes to prove their strength. Well, for the Tuskarr, it's similar, but for completely different reasons. I'm going to just showcase. See that over there? That's a Tuskarr village on that island. They fish everything. They fish up whales, they fish up turtles, they fish up fish. You know, you name it sea creature-wise, and they go and they hunt it. They live almost universally 100% off of the bounty of the sea. So their structures, their buildings, their food, their garments, it's all made off of stuff that they gather from the bounty of the sea. Okay? That's a really big deal for them. Now, this is actually kind of funny, because what Doctor just listed is where I was going with that. There's this wonderful cultural little thing that I absolutely love this. Anytime someone visits a Tuskarr village, they should bring fish. Now, the reasoning being here, if you bring a fish, it showcases that that person is a good person, because it means they can fish, and therefore they also can use the bounty of the sea. Like Sonic Doctor said, it's kind of a moral compass situation, which I find hilarious. There's a few other things about the Tuskarr. A couple other little tidbits, but I'll discuss those in the future. You know.
What troubles you?
The eye patch smells of death. This chest says, property of Silvermoon Harry. This feather looks like it belonged to a parrot. And this is a skull and crossbones painted cannonball. Pirates. Is there no end to the depths of their depravity? We must recover the stolen artifacts and return them to this cursed place, so that these people may once again know peace. My people are bitterly entrenched in a war with the North Sea freebooters. If any Tuskarr could help us in our quest to right the wrongs of the pirates, it will be the Elder Atulk of Kamagua. You must take these clues to him at once. To get to Kamagua, take the lift behind me.
May your nets always be full.
Well, I don't want to miss the boat, so there we go. So this is how we travel up and down the lift when we don't have a flying mount. Yeah. I just think this is kind of cool right here. Hey, snow, finally. I mean, I know everything up here is frozen anyways, but it's nice to actually see some snow. We made it. The Isle of Spears. Not spears of war. Spears like these. And as you can see, their proud mount is the turtle. Oh, there's no way in hell I'm getting into it today. In fact, I need to cut this off soon. So we're going to do a little bit of stuff with the Kamagua here. Then we're going to move on. And by move on, I mean stop streaming for the day. So this is what I mean. You can see literally their architecture here, which is really well designed, I think, by the way, is literally made from bones and sea hide, basically. You know, the hides of whales and sharks and other such sea creatures draped together over the buildings, kept together with these long ropes and whatnot. So basically everything they use, not 100%, but basically everything they use revolves around the bounty of the sea. There's also a ship that they have that goes through here. It looks like he's not here right now. And able to get you to Dragonblight if you feel like it, quickly and easily. Even the small stuff that they do is based off of the sea, though. I mean, other than the fact that they've got these incense things, which we won't talk about, because we'll talk about those later. They actually use drapes of sea hide there in order to keep things protected from the elements. And their lamps are fish, which have some kind of glowing thing put into their stomach, or the fish themselves are glowing. I'm actually not sure which. Both are feasible, and both amuse me equally. The funny thing is the Tuskarr are basically... They're like that really weakling race in Civilization. Or not race, but, you know, the Civ in Civilization, where you're fighting them, and it's like, wow, you are like so much weaker than all these other forces. And yet they're really good at one thing. Imagine if you're playing a Civilization game, and you've got this massive army and this massive empire, and it's really hard to maintain it. But then there's this other civilization who doesn't really have that much of a military or anything else going for them, except for the fact that they are really, really good at gathering food and procuring resources. In lore, the fact that the Horde unified with the Tuskarr should have actually been a big deal, and unfortunately has never actually been addressed ever since. But the general concept being that these people could provide such a bounty for the Horde that there could be a great... it would have really helped the Horde war machine to actually be functional. I actually personally think that there's an in-lore reason for why the Tuskarr are not a part of the Horde as of the now. And that reason is called Garrosh Hellscream. Anyways.
I will hear you.
Ooze from Orphus? Orphus is a good Tuskarr, one of our strongest warriors. I knew he would not let us down. Allow me to see what it is you've brought. The pirate thieves have set up port at Scalawag Point far to the south. Unfortunately, they have fortified their camp with deadly defenses. There is someone who might help assist in infiltrating. A pirate mercenary by the name of Grezix Spindlesnap recently came to our village in search of food and shelter. In exchange, he gives us information about our enemies and feeds them misinformation about our attack plans. Seek him out at his ship just south of here, off the coast.
Visit again when you can.
We Tuskarr rely mostly on our fish catch. In times of great need, however, we will occasionally hunt land animals. The nearby village of Iskal was recently attacked by pirates, and the survivors just keep pouring in. Our catch has been modest this week, but there are many shovel tusk on the island, and their meat is plentiful. Aid my people by hunting these great beasts and obtaining their meat.
Utgarde Keep.
I don't have the sea turtle, by the way. Nor do I have this sea turtle. This is their ship, by the way. This is actually a turtle. It's not like a hollowed out turtle like the Naga use. It is literally a turtle with a freaking ship on top of it. How do they make it go? Well, obviously they just put a bunch of carrots on a stick in front of them. How else would you motivate a turtle? Ahem. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God dang it. Ah! Yeah. I can do this. Okay.
What's up?
Yarr, matey, Grezix never did like to get his hands dirty. A pirate's life for Grezix is a good one. So long as Grezix doesn't have to do any of... Really? There's an orca attacking me? So long as Grezix doesn't have to do any of the work. I've seen those artifacts. It's the reason I'm here. Not at Scalawag myself. Bad. Bad things those are. Hey, it's your life though, right? You want to help Scalawag and Grezix? You want to get inside? Grezix can help. The North Sea freebooters all fear and respect Grezix. I'm thinking they recognize my special talents and envy my amazing ship. This is his ship right here, by the way. All you need to do is tag along with my cabin boy Lou and you'll be in like tin. Pirates love tin. Just talk to Lou when you're ready to go. Oh, you want to talk to Silvermoon Harry first. He'll have more information on the stuff they pilfered. Just watch what you say around him. He's a freak. Crazy for blood elves.
Keep it real.
We're actually... well... Looks like we're cutting off soon, so why don't we go after some shovel tusk meat while I wait for a few more people to show up. I suppose I could do that off camera. I'll do that off camera, so we'll just chop it off here. I'll get some shovel tusk meat, and then tomorrow we will continue our trek through the Howling Fjord. See you tomorrow, guys.